Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Here, do this real quick. Just to make sure shit's working, I suppose. There, yep, okay. My other shit's still upcoming? Are we fucking kidding me? Here, I'll do this. Oh. There we go. If anyone's waiting in that one, which I think there is. I see someone waiting in that other one. Okay, there we go. Somebody was waiting in that other one, so hopefully they'll get the hint. I'll leave that there, save for later. Doc of the Sickly SKMC. What's up? I'm not even really like that sick anymore. Honestly, thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I know what the fuck it was. Like, on my first break, I was at work. I was feeling fine. I took like a tender that we just recently put out that I dropped, and then I put it in a hot case and I grabbed one of the smaller ones, and there was like a chunk of that small chicken tender that was basically breading, and the inside of that breading was still raw basically, and I thought it was like some chicken fat from the chicken piece. So when I was eating that, like, I sat and I was walking home, and then I sat down here. Like, that's when it, boom, it fucking hit me. Like, I sat down, and my stomach was like, oh. And I all of a sudden went, oh no. I went, oh no, this isn't good. And I just kind of sat here for a second and realized, uh-oh, something's wrong. And I knew I had to at least get back to work so I can at least let my coworker know that, you know, I'm definitely not doing good, and I probably ain't gonna, you know, finish the shift just because of it. And when I went back up there, I started to really crash down a little bit, so I just stayed in the back corner a little bit with a trash bag next to me, just waiting for the feeling to come up, and sure and lo and behold, I puked once, and then came back outside, and luckily, it's been dead for at least when I was there. So it wasn't like, you know, he was getting slammed or anything back there. And he was like, dude, you ain't looking too good. If you want, you can go home, man. You know, I don't want you to, you know, like, staying here looking sick and crashing. And it's like, and I was telling him, it's like, you sure? Because I know one of our other closers who was scheduled today was thinking about coming in. And with that, like, I was just like, all right, well, I mean, as long as that, you know, it's kind of more confirmed that he's able to come in, then it make me feel comfortable, yeah, and leaving knowing that he'd be alright. So, luckily, I think, you know, for today, things were fixed or resolved, you know, considering it. But as soon as I came home, I just, like, took my shoes off, like, took my wallet out of my pants, and then I just, like, just passed right the fuck out, honestly. Like, honestly, did DFF even do an episode today? Like, DFF Ride? Because I could have swore I saw, like, a notification for something by DFF, and I clicked it. But I really could not tell you what the fuck it was, because, like, I was, like, in a daze when I was, like, going to sleep. I was listening to it, kind of. I think it was, like, a TJ stream or something. Like, I don't, like, because I don't think, they did an episode. Did I do an episode today? Yeah, let me look a look. Oh, they did. Yeah, this is it. Moving Blues, Blood and Cappy, featuring Steve Zora the Grim. Oh, Stevie, their brother. So, I guess instead of an episode, DFF did an improvised stream on the Woes of TJ Moving. I see. I kind of figured. It's not the first time they did that, so those end up being kind of fun little experiences. There was also the couch news, like the flash fried, like, couch news episode they did for, like, an hour, where they had, like, that weird-ass, like, buck in the background with a MAGA hat on it after their tinderbox incident. So, you know, like, they end up being kind of fun little, like, gems in their own right. I mean, speaking of gyms, I was actually listening to the 8 Hour show last night when I went to bed. Like, I was like, you know what? I haven't listened to an 8 Hour show in a minute. You know, and just like pull that up, you know, as I was getting ready to go to bed and shit. Dude, their spam episode, oh my god, I forgot how fucking, like, or at least their spam segment of that episode, I forgot how insanely, like, gross that was. Spam, sizzle, pork, and I hate how there's, that's the motto. They couldn't think of anything for the M, so they just went, It's just like, what? They couldn't think of any word for the M. Just, DFF should do a casting couch episode. I love to hear, maybe. I love to hear the lore behind that. The lore behind, wait, which one? Oh, the casting, or like the, like, flash ride news on the couch. That was after their house burnt down. The Tinderbox. That was during the Tinderbox era. Or the closing, one of the closing chapters to the Tinderbox era, I should say. I like the first like year or two of Deep Rap Ride is basically known as the Tinderbox era. Because of the house that they were in being a fucking tinderbox. I love it. But yeah, I do vaguely remember clicking that stream that they did earlier because of TJ's woes, and yeah, I frankly couldn't tell you anything about it. I'm just assuming that, you know, discussing, you know, moving, obviously blood and cat piss at one point, I guess. Watched a bunch of old Arnold movies with my stepdad today. I have to say, Commando is a solid flick. Of course it is. I like Commando. A lot of the early Arnold flicks are pretty solid movies. But Terminator is still one of my favorite Arnold movies. Well, yeah. Honestly, I think, like, if anyone were to see Arnold, old or young, you know, they would immediately recognize him for the, you know, for the, you know, Terminator character. Unless you're, you know, a true OG and then you see him as, like, Hercules! Arnold playing Hercules, dude. That unintentionally is one of my favorite movies. Not because of it being good. It's far from good. It's horrible. But it's just awesome. Because of just Arnold's acting. I think it's one of his first acting stunts. Like, as playing that movie. And, it's just, it's a gem. It's just a fucking gem. Coda the Barbarian has aged well. Oh, dude. Like, I mean, Conan the Barbarian not aging well. It's like that bitch aged like wine. Conan aged like fine wine. What are you talking about? So someone got upset. I unfollowed them. Damn, man, I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. I mean, visually, not story-wise. Oh, like, visually? But that's a part of the charm. Is the visuals. But, Rose, would you... I mean, I guess you didn't get them upset, or did you? What'd you do? What happened? To the point you unfollowed them? Where I guess something was or was not a big deal? There's a lot of shit going on the internet, so I'm like, I figured it's over something. It's over COVID shit. Really? That's actually, like, kind of surprising at this point. Like, who, outside of, like, weirdo, like, hardline Trumpy types, are still freaking out over COVID? like, yeah, it's still a problem. It's, you know, still needs to be taken seriously. But, like, for fuck's sake, like, I mean, anyone with a brain, you know, can figure it out at this point, you know? They even tagged me. I've been unfollowed by people. I didn't feel the need to tag them. Like, so this person got butthurt over some COVID shit, and they, like, tagged a bunch of people that you follow, or that follow you, so they can see the argument and try to, like, get them to unfollow you and pin them against you. Well, it's over people wearing masks, which I support. Sure. I mean, I'm pretty much the same way about it. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, at this point, like, a hardline, like, fucking, like, how fucking dare you if you don't wear a mask and shit. You know, because at this point, anyone with a brain kind of knows what to deal with when it comes to dealing with this type of shit. And especially if there's, like, you know, a high spike of cases and shit, then yeah, you should probably, you know, take precautions. At the very least, just be fucking vaxxed. Which is just pretty much just my position at this point. It's like, just, you know, take precautions that you feel necessary and fucking just make sure you're vaxxed. And preferably be boosted as well. So, it's like, as long as, you know, people are at least taking precautions, like, you know, I'm not gonna make a big, huge fucking fuss over it. And this has been going on for a while, plus some anti-vax stuff, so yeah, nah. So the dude's just being an anti-vax fucko. Plus, wearing a mask isn't even that much of an inconvenience. It isn't. Like, I can get it if maybe someone has, like, some serious fucking asthma and shit, but, like, I've seen people with fucking asthma wear those things and not have any problems, so even then I'm, like, very skeptical. It's like, I mean, and if it really is that big of a deal, like, oh, it hurts my ears because of the little, like, you know, straps or whatever, then get a neck gaiter or some shit. Like, they make neck gaiters specifically, like, extra thick now, you know, instead of just, like, a little cloth, you know, to be more, like, compatible with, like, you know, mask mandate shit. Like, I lost it a while back. I actually been meaning to get another one. But I used to have, like, this IWW neck gaiter that was, like, a double layer one that had, like, a little slit where you could put, like, little filters in. And, you know, and at least back when COVID was at its height, I was using those. But as soon as I was, like, all vaxxed up and shit while I was still wearing the gaiter, I didn't really feel the need to have the filters as much anymore. But still, it's just, like, you know, things like that. You know, it's just like shit. If, you know, because then, at that point, you don't get the fucking straps that hurt your ears and make them sore and blah, blah, blah. And plus, it's around your neck. So, if it, you know, if you're out and about outside and it's kind of cold, you got something to keep your neck warm. And your head warm because you can wrap around your whole head. Like, neck gaiters, like, honestly, like, for people that are all butthurt about, like, just get, like, a double layer thick-ass neck gaiter, which are available, because I had one. I've been needing to get another one anyway, especially with winter coming up anyway. And, you know, and just wear that. I started to think they just legit went stir crazy from the lockdown. I feel them, honestly. I can feel that. Because I did too a little bit, I won't lie. But I think everyone did a little. I mean, to an extent, you know, it just depends on how well people took it.
Thank you.
I'm already kind of like, you know, an antisocial fuck. You know, I don't necessarily like, you know, just being constantly out and about and shit, so I never totally minded it. But yeah, there's even a certain point where I'm like, God damn it, I wish the bars were open. You know, there's, like, I had that feeling. God damn it, I wish the restaurant was open so I can hang out with my friends and have some beers and some good food, you know? Like, there was even a point where I was getting sick of it and shit. You know, more near the end, but I'm pretty stir crazy and shown due to not being unable to drive in an area where you need a vehicle to get around. I could feel that. And honestly, like, I mean, I'm getting to the point where I, you know, should probably get to drive it around myself. Like, I mean, public transit, riding bike, walking around, it's nice and convenient, but time. That's kind of the main thing. Like, I mean, convenience factor of being able to get from point A to B on my time, especially by having a vehicle, is definitely a lot more convenient than waiting for a bus. Plus, I could take Zukov a lot more around, and it's more convenient to take him places. So, you know, it's just honestly, like, all in all, just, it's becoming more of an, you know, idea that it's, like, kind of becoming more of a need, more so than an option. No, I wear a mask inside places, but it means the vaccines give me more. But that means the vaccines give me more freedom. Yeah, exactly. It's as if that sometimes medical science and following that in the consensus of medical science actually gives you more freedom. Curious.
It's like medical mandates actually bolsters freedom. Strange. I wonder why that happens. Oh, wait, because we all participate in a society. So thus, if something happens where it heavily impacts society, then thus all of society gets affected by it. Hence why certain things are, necessary to be like mandates or laws and shit like that. So everybody doesn't get negatively impacted by a thing. Or at least very minimally. Like when it comes to a pandemic, I mean, shit. That's why, at least, especially when it comes to, like, the early beginnings of a pandemic, being more hardline about locking down and shit like that is honestly for the betterment of freedom in the long run, because that means less people get sick, less likely for shit to spread, and that also gives more time for hospitals who aren't so overloaded with fucking sick people dying from a pandemic to be able to use that time to do more research and development to potentially get a vaccine going, like with more collective research efforts. So the people who are sick in those hospitals, are going to be able to, be like, hey, we, still have patients that are sick with this pandemic, but we are not so overloaded with them, so we can take time to, see what the fuck, is making them so sick and why this is, and etc., and help further that development and research for a vax. If you have doctors and hospitals overloaded with fucking shit because no one abides by medical mandates and shit, then how are they going to be able to, get closer to a fucking vaccine with, because they're not going to be able to, do as much research with this. Besides just trying to keep people alive, and half the time they're getting fucking belittled, for trying to do it. Or vaccine exception for the people who actively harass people who wore them and spread lies about vaccines. Fuck them. Yeah, I'm still pretty much on the same position of the dark squats for those type of people, essentially, but I'll admit I've definitely softened my approach with shit like that. My stepsister's legit kind of dumb. She turned down an $18 an hour job at the hospital as housekeeping because she doesn't want the jab. Well, she's a fucking idiot. And evidently she, doesn't need the pay, doesn't need the income. Because I guess, the lack of her health, is more important than fucking, having a good income, I guess, and good health. Let me purposely stay poor and keep myself unhealthy by not, getting the jab. Eject him with the gay. Yeah, eject him with all the gay. What's up, Rip? Not gonna last long. 5G's soaring through my veins, and I'm tired as fuck. They're soaring through your, veins, as in, it's happening in vain. Spelled vein wrong there, bro. She does need the money. She has loans out the rear end she needs to pay off. But I guess, not getting the jab is far more important to her. Yeah. You're lucky those are empty.
Yeah, fine.
No, I've just got the 5G.
Yeah, good puppers. Good puppers.
She thinks DoorDash full-time is not a full-time or a part-time. It's solely independent contract work. That's nothing. That also heavily fucks you over because they essentially have to rely on tips anyway.
Okay,
that's not a full-time job.
I'll leave you to your wishing.
Owning the libs is more important, figures. Sounds like my brother, but he got the vaccine. Yeah. At least, your brother, at least, is, better about it. Because at least, for him, he actually, does it pretty good. I see him come in often, so evidently, people will actually like his service. I'm guaranteeing you, your bro has, legit, reoccurring customers. So, I like this Marcus kiddo. Just fucking, being oh, yeah, let me just, let me get this kid again, because he's such a sweet fellow. It helps me with my groceries. I guarantee you he has recurring, customers like that. Actually, I should clarify the person in question was saying people should get over people not wanting to wear masks, which, if they just get vaccinated, wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, exactly. If people want to get over not wearing masks and just get vaxxed, it's not that hard. Dox. I mean, it's just saying a first name is not exactly a full fucking doxing shit. And plus, I've said the first names of even Rip City. I've said his first name on here before, so it's I don't necessarily think that's the end of the world there. You should wear a mask. No, it's uncomfortable. Okay, then just get the vaccine. No! It's like, well, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Can you quit snooping? Snipping, snooping, scavenging? Stop. Fucking little goof. Silly boy. Like to imagine a receiver just sexy and motherfucker of abs in a six pack. I mean, I will say, not in a weird way. He is like, a very attractive dude, but he doesn't have like a full on six pack or like abs and shit going on. He's got like the athletic build, but he's not like full on abs and six pack rocking and shit like that. So, I'll say that much, I just support lockdowns at this point. Yeah, I don't either. Like, at this point, like, the lockdowns are a little ridiculous. I could see, like, maybe businesses being encouraged to have, like, social distancing policies if, like, COVID rakes up to, to a high rate, in certain areas. But even then, it's like, the people who actually give a shit will take the precautions at this point. I'm all for lockdowns to trigger the cons. But that kind of has an effect on people like me, too, a little bit, when it comes to, like, the job, and also just with, like, just free time shit. Also, triggering the cons is fun. Well, why do you think they try to trigger the libs? Because they feel the same way. But at least when we do it, it's based off of reality. And it's trying to progress reality further into something that's at least better. Would lockdowns be necessary with the vaccine? The people who didn't get vaccinated can fuck off at this point. Yeah. This essentially is like pretty much what I'm saying. It's just like, it's like, hey, if you want more freedoms, just get the fucking vax. If not, just shut up. Like, get denied your fucking 18 an hour, get denied the job that you so desperately want because, oh no, God forbid I get a fucking vaccine. It's like, you're an idiot. Like I'm supposed to have empathy for you? Use the R word. Not to mention it's retarded. The working class didn't use more leverage during lockdowns. Well, yeah, I saw that. And honestly, I do agree with that. Like, honestly, I think the only reason why, like, our union was able to get a really decent contract for Kroger / Fred Meyers and Albertsons Safeways was because of the lockdowns. Because there were, at least enough workers and enough rank and file and at least enough of the local union using it as leverage and being somewhat on the aggressive and shit. So I do think, at least there was like a kind of a scene of like, oh, we kind of have some leverage about this, but they never really went full on all the way. There are a lot of other workers regionally around that are, but, it's not, at least around here, not a lot of people have recognized that yet. The R word, Roblox. Well, yes and no. I'm immunocompromised. I got the vaccine, went fine. I still have one testicle left. The other one's doing solid. Yeah. It's just like, at the end of the day, it's like, especially with the like leverage, especially during lockdown. Like, honestly, imagine if like, grocery store workers, went on a walkout and shit, at least on a general level, to continue having their hazard pay and shit. Because I remember having hazard pay when COVID was going on for 2 weeks. Not even fucking kidding. And honestly, it wasn't even that much anyway. I think it was like back then it was 14.35 about, and at least for me. And then when the hazard pay came in, it only went up to like 19 something. It wasn't honestly that much. It was a pretty decent amount, but it wasn't really like significant by any means. I think it was really just 1.5 times pay. That was it. Imagine if sanitation workers did that. Oh yeah. Imagine if that whole trucker shit wasn't over because of like booed fuck these lockdowns, but hey, we actually deserve fucking better and shit like that, and actually needs more workers and more shit when it comes to us like being exploited, especially considering the fucking supply chain and shit. Like, that even would have been, like, a fucking huge significant impact. Garbage men on strike are some serious shit because then it becomes everyone's problem. Exactly. Same with grocery stores, if you think about it, because everyone needs to eat. Everyone needs to go to the grocery store to grab the fucking eggs, milk, and bread, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like there are certain industries, if they did a fucking strike, everybody would have to have it as their problem. Same with the railroad strike. That's still potentially on the table because they, as expected, vehemently rejected their fucking contract that was attempted to be pushed through. So that's still on the fucking table. And if they struck, that's everybody's issue, especially ours. You know, because, you know, we're the ones that have to get, you know, customers yelling at us why. It's like, why do you not fucking have this? You haven't had it in months. It's like, I don't know. Like, there's literally 1,000 different things I could think of, but shit, none of them are going to satisfy your answer. Or your questions, so it's like, fuck me. Can't believe it's this, but with recent developments, Joe Biden has become one of the best presidents in recent memory by sheer malarkey of doing bare minimum. I mean, I'll withhold, you know, my comments about that, at least until the end of his first term. Because he could likely do some very horrible fucking shit. And who knows? He could probably be doing some, like, shadow shit right now that we're not aware of yet. That just hasn't been put up to the surface, you know, so far. Like, I mean, like, because every time, essentially, at this rate, you know, like, every time there is, like, a bit of good news, there's always something underlying it, you know, that's, like, a caveat of bad news, like, oh, police got funded a little more. Oh, we sent another $1 billion to Ukraine. Oh, this, that. Like, there's always something a little bit, so I won't totally be like he's one of the best, but at the same time, yeah, Ripsey's saying it, like, it isn't saying much because the standards are so fucking low. I mean, it's just like, you know, really ain't too much that, you know, we could fucking, you know, say, you know, when it comes to being the best in recent memory, because the last actually decent fucking president was probably, you know, debatable Kennedy, and definitely at least since FDR. Maybe Carter. But I hear a lot, you know, I don't hear a lot of positive things about Carter either, but honestly, like, I don't know too much about his entire presidency outside that he's just as a person pretty dope. Look at your competition: 2 Bushes, Clinton, Orange Man, and Obama. Oh, bummer. Yeah. I mean, when you have, like, that as your competition for, like, who's the better president out of all these fucks? It's like, well, at this rate, yeah, it is going to be Biden, honestly. And I think before then, like, honestly, it's like, none of them. I guess there is an element of, like, you know, that whole, like, I came from Scranton, Jake. See, I guess there is, like, an element where there might be, like, a tiny baby kernel of truth, whereas dementia addled ass is, like, tapping into right now because, you know, reasons, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe there's some about the decline of Joe Biden, because if he's getting dementia addled, that means his brain is kind of going back into his youth a little bit, and if he's, like, the, you know, more, like, swashbuckling, like, young buck or whatever, that's not, like, radical, but at least, you know, radical in comparison to Biden now and the current establishment, then I guess in a way that means he would probably just randomly do shit. Like, that ends up looking kind of good because, you know, he's like, maybe the dementia's working in his favor, weirdly enough, because of that. But that's just kind of a weird little hunch that isn't really based off anything. I say Bill Clinton was a decent president, but that's because my mom basically worships him despite him gunning welfare. Too long didn't read. He isn't, but I always hear his praises. Rumors that Biden might be moving to decriminalization of cannabis. Isn't he already been, like, doing that? Biden has, like, 5 accomplishments: ending the war in Afghanistan, student debt relief, marijuana pardons, blasphemed the Pope's office, farted on royalty. Yeah, honestly, those are some legit, you know, some things. Clinton was also awful. Yeah, honestly, Clinton was a shitbag. Like, all of his, like, middle ground triangulation policies was basically, like, 1960s, 70s era Republican policies and Reagan-style policies and shit. Just centralized and very anti-worker, union busting as fuck, and did bombings in Kosovo and shit like that. He's a fuckbag. He's like a proto-Obama, if you think about it. Before the drone strikes and shit, it was basically, doing the Nighthawks with the Nighthawk raids and B-2 raids, which Serbia actually knocked down a couple Nighthawks, which also America absolutely fucking denies, which is kind of funny. It's like Serbia as government's like, yeah, we knocked down a couple of those F-117 Nighthawks and shit, bitch. Flex. And America's like, wrong. Now let me do a nice little slick little saxophone for you. Alright. Stop being bipartisan, these people are fucking cum. Dude, I hate bipartisanship in fucking politics. It's fucking gross. The cannabis pardon is at risk of being blocked by the courts, I hear. The president has long had the authority to pardon. Yeah. Like, I think it's, the courts might try to block when it comes to states, I think. Trying to, make, governors and shit not do it. Who would even have to say anything to challenge that? That's one of the people he pardoned not want the pardon, Lamau. So, I mean, yeah, let me just, like, meet the one prisoner that's like, hey, would you like a pardon? No, I like being here. It's like, yeah, name me that one dude who wants that. Of course, like, any motherfucker is gonna be asked that is gonna say yes. Maybe there is, like, the rare motherfucker out there who's like, yeah, I like being here. Maybe there is legit, that rare type of guy, but I don't know. Well, you know what? Actually, there probably is. There's probably people who are like, no, I understand I deserve to be in here, and, I don't wish to pardon. But honestly, if they're like that and honest about it and shit, that means they're more likely to be okay if they leave. So they deserve the pardon at that point, if anything. Where it's just like, oh, hey, it's like, I understand, my crime, and I deserve to be in here, and I wish to have the rest of my term seed and shit. And whatever. And it's just like, I mean, at that rate, it's like, well, at least they're honest and actually, like, being understanding. And if anything, they are, acknowledge their crime and understand it. If anything, have introspection. So thus, I'd actually would give them the pardon, even if they don't want it at that rate. Because it's like, hey, I mean, you're, if anything, or you're proving yourself to show that you're, rehabilitative. Or at least, to an extent. So that's, are likely to go back into society far more to someone who's just like, oh yeah, give me that pardon. And just like eager as a fucking like, eager as a fucking pig and shit. And then all of a sudden, oh, out of nowhere, that person just started doing some robberies again, It's just like, and even then, the pardons aren't even for shit like that. It's for fucking weed. It's like, oh, do you have like, an eighth of weed? Boo, you're going to jail now for like 25 years. Like, any motherfucker that's got shit like that is literally going to be like, oh, yes, please, give me the pardon and get me the fuck out. Like, no one is going to be like, yeah, I deserve to be here. No one. Like, I would actually want to find, I'd actually want someone to find me the person that's like that. And I guarantee you, it'll literally be the only person. Literally the only one. I guarantee it. Texas governor issued a statement saying we don't pardon criminals, and my stepdad praised him for that. Oh, Greg Abbott? Ugh. Well, hey, guess what? Having weed in your pocket, being caught with that is not a fucking crime, so fuck yourself. You're not pardoning criminals, you're pardoning innocent people that don't deserve to be in fucking jail. So get fucked. And also, they don't have the authority. They only have the authority when it comes to state prisons. When it comes to governors trying to stop this. When it comes to federal prisons, they have no fucking say over that. Clean to stop the Steelers. Oh, yeah. Given that fucking question, it's like, oh, so you want to make sure that the criminals who try to do a fucking fascist coup are going to, stay in prison, right? No, actually, they're all innocent and they have no guilt on them and they're actually fucking patriots. It's like, okay. So you just don't want people, you just want people that you don't like in fucking prison, I see. It's like, fuck yourself. Heads blow up. Yeah, for real. Fascists doing fascist things, of course. I mean, it's just literally like, the last big hoorah they're going to be doing for like the next decade or so. I mean, they've been doing it for like a few years now, but they're going to continue to do this for a while. And honestly, they're just going to get a lot more rambunctious and violent about it and shit, which is like, okay, well, I have no problem, crushing that shit like a fucking bug. In fact, I wish there was like a little program or some shit where it's like, hey, citizens, would you like to, crush the fascists? Well, here, join this program where you could, be a part of, like a, wing of a, a part of the Fed agency where you can help crack down on these motherfuckers. It's like, hey, do you suspect someone's doing insurrectionist and fascist ideas in your fucking, local town or county? Here, join us, and then, you can help crack down on them. Oh, violence begets violence, as the saying goes. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just like the fact that, honestly, with the fucking, with like the January 6th shit, the only reason why it like got as far as it did was because of the lack of fucking violence to crush it. Like, if the cops, as soon as they started charging up those fucking steps, started, fucking, at least at the very minimal, tear gassing the shit out of them, and beating the fuck out of them, batons and pepper spraying all of them, let alone fucking actually legit open firing on them, then, they would not have been nowhere near that fucking Capitol. They would have, immediately, ran off like cockroaches in the fucking sun, because none of them want to, get shot for the most part. Outside of a fucking crazy few radicals and extremists and fundamentalists that, feel like this is our day. Which plenty of them felt that way. And were exacerbating trying to incite that shit and literally were trying to attack and kill these fucking cops and they still didn't do shit. It's like if there was a time where police, using violence was absolutely necessary, let alone fucking encouraged, it was that fucking day. Like, as soon as those fucking patriots marched up those steps, those cops should have been open fire with AR-15s. Full Metal Jacket, baby. And some hollow points, too. I know the peaceful protest thing is a moral high ground, but I'm not a good person in this regard. If you come at me violently, I'll respond violence because I personally believe enough. Yeah. If it's just encouraging the fast to walk over you. Yeah, if you don't, understand what, essentially the fact that fascists do use violence, and don't give a fuck if you don't, and are willing, and understand that they, will fundamentally use violence as their form of aggression, as, usually their first fucking means, and not willing to, step up to the plate and, meet them face to face on that type of shit, then they're just gonna walk right all over you. And they're not gonna care. It's why when it comes to them and when it comes to them trying to incite shit like that, and when they come, counter-protesting and shit, quash them like a fucking bug. Don't give them a chance. Because, every time they do this shit, they're looking to fucking not just hurt people, but kill people. Every time they show up to this shit. So quash them like a fucking bug every step. Don't even give them a chance. Just start getting the bat and hitting them. Because at the end of the day, it's okay to punch a fucking Nazi. No matter what. It's always justified. They only speak the language of violence and will only understand that. Exactly. And if they're with violence or put in their fucking place, their only thing they're going to be saying after that is yes sir, no sir. Yes ma'am, no ma'am. That's the only thing they're going to be saying if you put them in their fucking place. Because that's all they understand. The only thing they understand is power dynamic. And if you have a strong authority that puts them in their place and force them to bend to that authority, they will obey. Because they don't give a fuck. That's literally all they understand. A fascist that's literally all they understand here. That's it. So when it comes down to it, you literally have to put them in their place. Put them in check and understand that they're the lesser when it comes to their fucking extremism. At least an ideological lesser. Not a lesser because they're, of being a fellow man, but because of what they're willing to do to other men and to their fellow man. If they can, get over that and enlighten themselves out of that shit and be woke, God forbid, then it won't feel that way about them. But as long as they're like that, punch them. Beat them down. As far as I go, fuck, who cares? Supposed to have fucking sympathy for these people? Would they want to actively kill people like me? Actively try to kill trans people and exterminate them? Suppress women? Fuck that. I'd punch the shit out of him before I talk to him. I'll talk to him after they're on the ground fucking whimpering like a puppy. What are you doing? Why do you just like... Pfft, just bad at shit, bro. I knew low is like 52. I don't even have my heat on for the season yet. Yeah, I like... Honestly, every now and then when I wake up in the morning and come in this garage, I'm like, should I have my heater in here? Because I have my heater in my room. And then like not even 10 minutes later, I'm already warm. And I'm like, nah, I guess I don't. Like, I'm just wearing this and my shirt. Like, I normally am wearing my fucking, like, wool jacket and shit like that at this point. Like, I should have my winter wear on. But no. What are you, what? It's because you need, like, some food in your food bowl. Because it does look like you need some of that. Is that it right there? In fact, what about some aqua? Because you need that too, don't you? There you go. Alright. I understand why people always... I feel like that's kind of dumb and not willing to strike back and allow them free reign to injure you. Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, obviously, when it comes to, like, doing your own, like, form of rally protest and shit like that, obviously nonviolence is very important. It's just that, like, when it comes to this conversation, it's, like, mainly the direct clashes when it comes to, you know, with these, you know, fascists and, like, anti-fascists and shit like that. Or when it comes to, you know, a queer rights rally, you know, being, you know, attacked by, or at least attempted and planned and orchestrated to be attacked by, you know, these more fascist types and shit. And when it comes to those type of situations, in those scenarios, there is a strong element, as, you know, at least in my mind, where it's like, yeah, as Venom says it, violence is a tool where it's like, in order to protect, you know, the rights and the safety of other people, those that are willing to enact violence and are actively trying to, need to be met back with that to, you know, be put in check. You know, just honestly, like, that's just legitimately how I feel about when it comes to especially the far right and the extremist elements of these type of people. I mean, look at Patriot Front and the Proud Boys and shit. Like, there's videos that leak out of them doing these little training videos and shit out in random fields and forests and shit. And as dorky, as goofy, and as cringe as fuck as it looks, and as silly as it looks, there's a serious threat to that. Because, you know, even though they all look like a bunch of fucking retarded dipshit, you know, fuckwads, you know, doing so and looking gay as fuck while at the same time, I mean, it makes them just that little bit more organized when doing their shit, instead of being just a random ragtag bunch of fucking weirdos, you know, just getting together for a day. Like, they act more like a squad, basically, and that's worse. It's worse than just, like, you know, 5 dudes getting together and all of a sudden showing up. It's like 10 dudes who have, like, radios, shields, you know, and other shit, you know, all planning this for like a month. But it's so-called moral high ground when it comes to those I care about. Yeah. Like, it's definitely not the first choice. Like, honestly, like, when these motherfuckers show up, like, when it means, you know, crushing and putting their place, you know, and using violence first isn't necessarily, like, the best option, necessarily. You know, just making sure that they stay the fuck away and keeping their distance is mainly the most important thing. Just keeping them out and keeping them away is the main priority. And honestly, it's like at the, you know, end of the day, if no violence comes from that, honestly, that's even more successful, because they were more scared at the sheer numbers of people, you know, on the line defending people that they're trying to attack, that they're intimidated by it and like, oh shit, this is going to be more trouble than what it's worth, and fuck off. Like, that's why, honestly, when it comes to, you know, people who are willing to, you know, be like the line of defense who have a weapon of some sort. I'm not saying gun. I'm just saying a weapon of some sort, like a bat, a tire iron, pepper spray, a fucking paintball gun. Well, I guess that's a gun, but, you know, a paintball gun is not really exactly gun, you know? So, at least when it comes to just those type of things, and using those type of tools, you know, and having, like, a wall of those motherfuckers while you got, like, 10 other dudes who have the same shit, maybe a fucking pistol on them, too, on top of it. But see, that ain't worth the fucking trouble, because there's 10 of them and, like, 40 of the other dudes. They're not gonna fuck with you. They might say shit, and they might fucking try to do their intimidatory shit and flex a little bit, but they ain't gonna fucking do shit. Because there's too many. They understand the fucking odds and the numbers game. It doesn't matter how well-trained those guys are. If there's at least like 40 different fucking people, you know, like holding the line, sitting there waiting for them to make a fucking move, they ain't gonna do shit. Because they just know that they're gonna get overwhelmed. And the more people, when it comes to these, you know, when it comes to like leftist or career-based type of rallies and shit, have people that are like on the line defending these type of people like that, and the more of them there are, the less likely they're gonna fuck with these people, and the less likely they're gonna fuck with people like us, and less likely they're gonna do violence. Basically it's like know the enemy and know yourself. So it's like understand what the tool is that they use and have it on your hip, and they won't fuck with you. The whole idea is to try to avoid the violence and anything to make them not start their shit, which is usually how it always begins, is when fascists try to be the violent aggressor. And as long as you have something to show, like, hey, if you start violence, we're just as capable, in fact, even worse when it comes to the violence, so don't even fucking start. Like, if you show that on your hip, they ain't gonna fuck with you, or at least far less likely to. Every time leftists unite, we tend to cause a decent amount of damage to corporate paradigm, Iraq War protests, Occupy Wall Street, BLM. Yeah. Unfortunately, especially, you know, as of recently, and especially like the last, I don't know, like 5, 6 plus some years, I mean, leftists has had a lot of fucking infighting. Those victory movements never turn into election victories. Yeah. This guy stopped some guys from doing coke for a while. Honestly, there were, at least regionally throughout the U.S. in different counties and cities, more progressive and leftist Democrats that were elected during that time. Actually, at least around here in Clackamas County that I'm in, there's some people that are running for re-election that essentially were some of the people that came about from the Occupy Wall Street movement back in 2012 and 2011 and shit about. So there was like some people that I remember, at least this last primary, that very likely I'm going to probably see on the general election ballot, which I don't have yet. But when that comes up, I'm going to see a lot of those type of people, which they first took office back in like 2013 and have basically been re-elected since because of their more progressive lefty-leaning ideas and shit, and have actually like put forth, you know, some shit. So, I mean, at least around here, there was, you know, an outcome that was positive because of that shit, and if it happened here, I guarantee it was, you know, everywhere else around the country. While maybe not as influential and, you know, it's more dotted at best, I mean, it shows that at least in various different states and various different places in the U.S. that there were, you know, solidification, at least in local areas where progressivism and more leftist candidates were put in. Which honestly I think is why, you know, around here where I live is honestly, you know, kind of turned out for the better more so than not because of shit like this. Don't worry, vote for here anyway. You're in Alabama, I don't blame you. Besides, you ain't looking to stay in that fucking hellhole for long anyway. Honestly, Arizona would probably be, you know, worth it more to vote in. Because I guess, you know, your mom and stepdad have been convinced to go move over there potentially. So honestly, like, all in all, wherever you know, if you end up living over there, like, it would legit, like, probably be worth it more. Because there's probably more of a chance, you know, to have at least centrist, left-leaning-ish candidates possibly. At least more likely to. We have a ton to vote for in Oregon. Don't want a fascist as governor. Got a bunch of other ballot measures. Yeah, dude. Oregon's actually on the national ear a little bit. Like the governor race, the gun control measure, fucking some different House of Representative seats. There's a lot of shit that, you know, Oregon's got going on right now in this midterm that actually makes Oregon a pretty vital state to look at. I'm still planning on making a pilgrimage to Portland at some point. Make it a one-way trip. We're still making that a one-way trip, damn it. A permanent pilgrimage. Portland Charter Reform measure. That's another one, Portland Charter Reform, which I'm not in Portland directly, so I don't vote for that. I would vote yes either way, or vote for that in favor of the Charter Reform. But there's also some stuff around here in my local area that's, needing voting for too. Hardesty versus the crazy fascist. I still can't believe there's so much fucking hate against Hardesty, which is so stupid. It's like she only does so much, and the only real control and authority she has when it comes to Portland is the fucking fire department. And honestly, when it comes to Portland, out of all the emergency services that actually do their fucking job, it's the fire department. I wonder why. Huh. I wonder who is like the head of that. Oh yeah, Hardesty, that's why. The only one worth the fuck in the city council, and the one agency that she oversees a little bit, the fire department, is the one that actually is worth the fuck. It's like, wow, curious. And people still want to demonize her ass. It's like, what? Like, she actually has shit to show Portland that she's worth a fuck. All these other retarded fuckbags barely do fuck. And it's just like... What? Yeah, and also the complaints about her are like fucking nothing, have nothing to do with her. Like, I mean, there's so many complaints of like, oh, she voted against body cams and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, the ones where the police have all the authority to look at before they release it and shit, where they're essentially the ones overseeing the body cam footage and nobody else. Yeah, that, oh yeah, it's understandable why she wouldn't vote for it, because it doesn't hold the police accountable. It's like, oh, we have body cams, but we're gonna have total control over those, and you don't get to see them first. It's like, what? Excuse me? It's like, but like, either way, Joanne Hardesty has fuck all to do with that, outside of understanding the reality of what the fuck that would do, and vote against it, along with a majority of other people, too. It's just like, I mean, it's like, huh? And then also, like, the homeless issue, and they try to blame her about that, even though she has no authority over that either. It's just like, what the fuck? It's just like, they're all the complaints, about her, basically, she has no jurisdiction or authority over. It's just fucking, it means nothing, but outside the fact that she's just like a more progressive leftist black woman. Like, that's basically it. Like, I mean, they just want to fucking demonize her over it. It's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's not really the fact that she's a black woman necessarily, but I guarantee you there's definitely some centrist libs that will use that against her and shit, because, Portland, unfortunately, does kind of have a racist fucking history. So, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I haven't really heard it too much myself, but I guarantee you it's out there. Guess what three of those have in common? They're corporate moderates who are in the pockets of business interests. Wait, I have a bad feeling you have spoilers splitting the vote. That usually means the other side wins. Yeah, they're all corporate moderates, and Tina Kotek basically being the only one that's like, kind of like Elizabeth Warren about it. Like, she has one foot in that door and the other foot in like the progressive side of the door. So she's like obviously the better choice of the three. But yeah, Betsy Johnson is just an anti-union, pro-business fucking moderate shitbag fuck. And there's also, Drazen, Christina Drazen. And she's just basically a fucking, election was a fraud thing, and also just a Trump loyalist fucking fascist. No, I mean, Wheeler, Ryan, Maps are all corporate. Oh, you're talking about the mayor's, election. Not necessarily. It looks more like a last-minute coalition to stop Drazen. So, it looks like that whole spoiler vote actually worked in favor for Kotek, it sounds like. Because that spoiler vote actually made it look like, basically made it more likely that Drazen could win. But because of that, there's more of a coalition to stop her because of it. Hoisted by their own petard, bunch of fucking retards. Gotta love it. Watch, it's likely gonna happen. My stepdad made me proud today. He said he wanted to vote for Walker even though he's a Trumpist. He said he can't stomach voting for a retard. Well, you know what? Broken clock right twice a day. Broken clock is right twice a day, you know what I mean? I mean, because, like, Herschel Walker, legitimately, I'm sorry, he is fucking retarded. He actually has, like, very severe mental, like, faculty impairments. Like, I'm saying retarded in a medical sense in that way. Like, he honestly is. I'm just sorry. He should not be qualified to run for fucking president of the, you know, like, lollipop guild. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. So, like, yeah. I most certainly, yeah, it's like he shouldn't be qualified at all. Like, he literally pulled out a prop, like, badge, which I guess was actually a legit badge, but it wasn't, like, an actual, like, law enforcement badge. It was just, like, a certified, like, hey, you know, I've helped the police before badge, essentially. That wasn't actually, like, a legit badge, but, I mean, I guess it was, like, a real one. But it was essentially as, like, qualified as, like, the same ones you give to a kid. I mean, it still essentially is worth as much as that. And basically also is doing some stolen valor / impersonating a police officer / FBI agent by literally saying that he was, you know, like working with law enforcement and the FBI, and it's heavily implied that he is law enforcement and was formerly an FBI agent. Like, he heavily implies this all the fucking time. Like, the only reason why I bet he's not getting charged with it because he skirts around the edges enough to where it's like, you know, up in the air for interpretation shit. And it's just like, what? Like, this dude should be fucking charged with impersonating a police officer, goddammit. Like, what the fuck? Put in a situation that shows how committed he really is to his ideology. One game can be him deciding if some old white guys who is an asshole, maybe some black kid has to die. What? Like, I think that would have been more challenging. Oh, wait, hold on. Kill this guy off for one of his friends, and honestly, I feel like this was a waste. Think about at the point of the games, it's challenge perspective, right? Wouldn't it make more sense if the guy was put in such range shows how committed he really is to his ideology. One game, he can be him deciding if some old white guy who's an asshole, maybe some black kid has to die. Oh, I see. Yeah, I was reading the above comments and realized that you're, oh, wait, there's still one more to it. So, speaking of Nazis, I just got through watching Saw series, including Spiral. Now, how those two things relate is Saw 3D, they had a racist character in the game. Now, they just immediately killed this guy off along with his friends. And honestly, I feel like this is the way to think about it. The point of the game's trying to change perspective, right? Wouldn't it make more sense if the guy... Okay, no, I see what you mean. And honestly, no, I agree with you. Because also it kind of challenges, you know, systemic racial norms a little bit outside of just saying, yeah, this is lame, so kill him. It's like, wouldn't you want to try to imply, like, you know, maybe there can be a possibility of perspective change and shit? Because obviously that's the whole idea of Saw, you know, is perspective change, and, like, are you willing to change your, you know, views or your perspective about a thing in order to save your life, basically. It's like, how willing are you willing to die for your principles and your conviction, basically? That's essentially what Saw is in the most grotesque way possible. But that's why I kind of like Saw a little bit, at least in its theme, you know, when it comes to the premise. Because it's actually kind of a more deeper social commentary franchise, especially when you consider that. And honestly, especially for the racist character and shit, yeah, like, if they made him, like, you know, force, you know, kind of a perspective change a little bit by adding a game to where he has to, like, save, like, some, like, grand wizard, you know, old white fuck or some shit, versus, like, you know, a black kid who's, like, a grade A student, you know, about to go to fucking Harvard or some shit. You know, like, really, you know, fucking weigh the odds in this shit. It's like, are you willing to essentially, like, fucking, like, take the key that's in your eye socket and fucking rip your eye out to take the key to unlock, you know, to unlock the fucking, you know, door to the, one of these locks and shit? And there's, like, two different keys in his eyes. So it's like, are you willing to rip the one eye out, you know, to get the key for the black kid? Or are you willing to rip the other eye out for the key for the white guy? Or are you willing to rip both of your eyes out to save both of them? Like, play the game. You know, where do you lie on this? So it's like, you can either keep one of your eyes or just be permanently blind, depending on how your conviction is on your ideas. And he has, like, you know, 30 minutes or some shit. You know what I mean? Amanda Collins are going to be owning Liz big time in a few years if BioNTech are successful with their cancer vaccine. I can already feel the owners from years away, Lamau. I mean, from my understanding, Cuba actually has been pretty close to like a treatment and a cure for pancreatitis and / like, I think lung cancer a couple years. I remember, like, back in, like, 2015 or some shit, I remember reading an article about that. like surprisingly, like, Cuba's got a lot of advancement in cancer research, but because of America's embargo on Cuba, they can't really exactly fucking expand that out globally and shit and spread that research around. You know, like, it's very kind of limited in Cuba, but it only works for one type of cancer. Yeah, like, at this point, you know, like, science and medicinal science especially is kind of starting to get to the point where we're finding treatments and cures for certain types of cancers now. Like, Cuba's got some, we at least have one here, and we're working further, obviously, you know, more when it comes to, you know, other cancers. So, I mean, we're essentially, like, you know, getting to the point where, you know, within the next, potentially, I'd say, like, 30, 40 years, we will probably see legitimate cures for cancer that are permanent. But in, like, the next 10 to 15, we're going to see non-permanent cures. Like, yeah, it's not preventative. It's for people who already have said type of cancer. Yeah. So it's only, you know, right now it's very limited, but nonetheless, that's still, you know, is fundamental progress that is insane. Like, that's far more, you know, advanced than what we were 5 to 10 years ago. So it's just like, we're definitely getting to a point where we're going to see cures for cancer in our lifetime, potentially, but it's still going to be a while. Else, I think we'll see non-preventative and non-permanent cures in the next 10 to 15, about, like I said, and then, like, the next 30 to 40, we'll probably see more preventable and more permanent cures for cancer. If anything, maybe sooner than that. Just kind of depends on, like, I guess, you know, how our research and development healthcare system is, and if it stays for profit or not, and shit like that. There's variables that can accelerate or decelerate that, I guess. But that's why I kind of give, you know, the time frame off. Gotta give it at least like a decade or so. Team Buff comment. What? And during it saw that he died in a. Oh wait, hold on. I just finished watching a show called Time Rangers. Since Ignore probably won't watch it, I'll ruin the big twist. The captain of the time travel department during an experiment saw 2 different futures, and during it saw that he died in both. Sent the villains and heroes back in time to change that. He almost succeeded, but the Time Rangers discovered the plot and killed him because he was willing to sacrifice the past to save his own skin. So that's why no matter what, he was going to die, you know, in the timelines, because no matter what, he was going to be killed. See, that's why, you know, you never want to fuck with, you know, changing the timeline, man. Because if it ends up being, like, alternate timelines, but end up being the same result, well, there's a reason for it. Because at the end of the day, it all leads up to you fucking with it. So, nope. I still have this coffee left. I opened this when I went to work and fucking, of course, forget it. And then I get sick of little bits and now just have whatever's left in it. But fuck it. I'll drink it. I'll finish it off. Oh. The show ends in a third future where everyone but the captain survives instead of the 2 he saw, where one had the future destroyed and one had the past destroyed. Damn. Damn. Oh, DJ made a video. The King Speaks. And it looks like a thumbnail to a Joe Rogan clip. It looks like the background of a Joe Rogan set. Here, what is this?
Who are you?
I am me.
Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Do you even understand the question?
Yes.
Are you your race, your sex, your gender? Are you your height, your weight, your body? Are you your consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings?
Whoa, getting deep.
Are you your politics, your moral code, your religion?
Said he wanted to. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Are you your
Check it out after this, see what this is about.
associations, your friendships? Are you your enemies?
My enemies?
All
Huh?
of those things. Or none of them. Are you, as many neuroscientists and philosophers claim, ultimately nothing but an illusion? The illusion of self. Your brain constructs a narrative, a continuity, to explain its experiences and conditions, and from this is extrapolated identity. That is, you. Perhaps we should even refer to it as your brain. Because according to this view of things, you don't have a brain. A brain has you. Personally, that's not what I believe. I view the self as being akin to the music of a violin. The music is not part of the violin. Not physically. We cannot find a part of the violin that is music. Music, rather, is a thing that results from a specific interaction between the violin and the world. The violin is played by one who knows how to play it. The fact that we find a part of the violin that is music does not mean that music is an illusion.
I mean, if anything, the violin is the manifestation of how we create the music. Because we are the ones who made it, right?
It does not contain a thing called self. The human mind generates a self as a response to the stimuli of the world. If the self is an illusion, then music is an illusion, and words are an illusion, and anything that is ineffable, or subjective, or conceptual, or immeasurable, or irreducible is also an illusion. And if that's the case, then we're just illusory beings navigating an illusory world. But by that conception of reality, the very concept of an illusion would be an illusion. Rather than trouble ourselves unnecessarily.
Is it kind of a little bit of a redundancy? Illusion is, well, an illusion. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, in a sense, like, I mean, for me, I'd say that, like, I think there are illusions within, like, the material reality that, you know, kind of, like, peer itself around, you know, for our own consciousnesses and shit. But, I mean, in a sense, you know, at least for me, I do believe there's at least, you know, more concrete, like, material world that we all process, you know, obviously because all other life and all other beings, you know, are part of that same material, you know, world and processes as well. And they just have their own ways as life, you know, for interpreting that material world. And some far more limited, like plants and shit, or like certain insects, amoebas, bacteria, and stuff like that. And then like others far more complicated, far more sophisticated, like dolphins, primates, humans, you know, canines, etc.
Says, let's cut the bullshit.
But also, like, because, you know, there are elements of, you know, that I think can be illusionary, that's why things like certain elements like psychedelia and stuff like that, I think, are essentially, like, you know, ways of, you know, peering into those, like, illusions that your brain creates and expands those. And, you know, I think to an extent there is, like, a element of, you know, the real world to that, because, you know, our brain is at the end of the day just processing the material world around us. And with that, sometimes our brain fills in the blanks. I mean, that's something that, you know, scientifically proven, like, especially when it comes to, like, visually looking at something. Like, let's say I'm looking at, you know, like, I'm looking at my ammo cans over here. Like, everything around it, even though, like, my brain knows and understands, you know, it's seen, you know, the different material things everywhere around those ammo cans and shit like that. You know, just because I'm hyper-focused at looking at the ammo cans, you know, my brain is just going to fill in the blanks, so to speak. And that's also why, you know, things, especially what you're focusing on, obviously look very blurry, because your brain isn't focusing on that is fill in the blank in, so to speak. So, I mean, with that, you know, can create a, you know, opportunity, you know, for illusions to happen. That's why also sometimes we feel like we see shit at night, you know, where it's like, What was that? Even though there's probably literally nothing there because your brain filled in the blank of something there and you noticed it and went, what the fuck? Because that's kind of an element of the delusion of the material world around us because your brain created that. So, I mean, I think there is at least an element of, about illusions that I think are a part of, the real world, but it's because our brains, are capable of doing that to us, and kind of fucking with us a little bit. When you really think about where our brain's piling Bomex, yeah, basically. And also at the same time, there's like a subconscious element of our brains that also kind of like to fuck with our conscious, like I'm talking about. And that's why, there's a strong part of us, or at least to some of us, that are kind of curious about certain things like psychedelia, because we're aware and know that, and if anything, are curious about that. Like me. Like, I'm down for psychedelia because I like to explore that shit. I like to, see, like, the more illusionary psychedelic, material world around us, too, because I've experienced that a little bit, and it's pretty dope. I like it, at least, but obviously a lot of other people, won't necessarily feel the same way, but at least for me, I like it. I want some mushrooms, honestly. I've been kind of craving that a little bit.
Until proven otherwise. Now that you're officially a you, I must reiterate the question we started with. Who are you? April of 2022. I was watching movies with a dominatrix.
Kinky.
We were tripping on mushrooms.
Oh, see, like, I want mushrooms. God damn it, he mentioned it. Ah! See, it's like I'm destined to get some soon. I want some, damn it.
I watch, I picked A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, good movie.
Because she hadn't seen it before.
Mm.
And I consider it to be a masterpiece. She chose Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Also good movie.
I played it cool. I knew she'd freak out if I revealed to her that I had never seen it before. Somehow, in my 37 years on the earth, I had managed to avoid seeing one of the most famous comedy films in history.
That's kind of sad, honestly. I mean, it took me at least about like 20 years until I saw it, but at least for me, it's understandable, and it was 20 years, so I was like a 20-year-old about the first time I saw it. So at least for me, it's understandable a little bit, but for him, it's like, come on, man. It's like, took you that long?
I've seen other Monty Python films. Life of Brian was familiar to me. I had watched
I haven't seen that one.
Life several times. I enjoyed both of those films. So why had I avoided the Holy Grail? When I was a teenager, I saw a movie called Excalibur on TNT's Monster Vision.
I don't think I've seen that
one. Movie critic and encyclopedic horror fan Joel Briggs. I was enraptured by the film's dreamlike quality. The movie felt ethereal, otherworldly, haunted, grandiose, and important. The weight and the power of the legend of King Arthur and his knights was in every frame, and I loved the film then, and I still love it now. Perhaps it was my fondness for the legend of King Arthur that made me reticent to see those tales made light of by a troupe of silly British comedians. Just as a Christian might avoid Life of Brian because it mocks something they love, perhaps I was afraid to watch The Holy Grail because it mocked something that I love. I am, however, fascinated with a more spiritual explanation. The idea that perhaps I held off on seeing the film because it was not yet my destiny to see it. Irrational, but compelling.
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
If only to me. Perhaps the film wanted to present itself to me.
I mean, it's just like, if that's the case, then, what was the director's name? Todd Sterling, I think? The guy who directed Joker and also, like, the Hangover movie stuff. I know it's like Todd something, but like, I mean, if that's the case, then he was destined to make the Joker movie in 2019, and I was, for me to, see it and think, it's essentially like, at least for a modern movie, in like the last like 10-something years is like one of the best films, personally, in my opinion, because of a lot of the themes and symbology to it. And like, I mean, if that's the case, then it's like that movie was destined for its existence in that case, which it wasn't. It's just something that the director really wanted to make and stuff, and kind of do so in a very different direction in comparison to how Joker is normally interpreted, and ended up becoming an insanely phenomenal film because of it. It's not necessarily destiny because of that. But by that logic, though, it would be, at least, with, his idea to it, I guess. But again, it's, he even says it's kind of an irrational position.
And on that night, with psilocybin in my brain, I was in the proper state of mind to finally enjoy Monty Python's.
I should watch it on mushrooms.
I laughed my ass off, of course.
I should watch it on mushrooms, honestly. That sounds like a fun experience. I saw a Trainspotting with Ewan McGregor and shit. I saw that with while I was on acid, and that was an experience. Let's just put it that way.
As I lay in bed that night,
it's shite being Scottish. They can't even have decent people to be colonized by.
Psilocybin connected hemispheres of my brain that are normally not in communication with one another. I saw that Holy Grail was essentially a deconstruction of Arthurian legend, reducing myth to absurdity. My brain began to reverse engineer the film's approach, and I began to build absurdity into myth. I learned how to pull the sword from the stone. An overwhelming surge of power pulsated through my being. I felt unstoppable. I felt I could overcome any obstacle through sheer force of will, that I could bend the world to my whim. I felt more myself in this moment than I ever felt.
Mushrooms kind of do that to you.
I am the Wizard King of planet Earth. Who are you? I'm willing to bet you have needs that are not being fulfilled.
No shit.
You are frustrated.
Y'all.
You see things that aren't right. You see things that need to be corrected.
Is that Portland? Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, it's fucking some. I think this is back in 2020.
There are people who behave in ways
I think I remember this.
and upset you. There are other people who seek to control you, because to them, you are the one who is upsetting and disgusting. These conditions are nearly universal. If you're the exception to them, you're one of the few.
You, Joel
Self-help
Stain.
gurus, politicians, preachers, and other demagogues have come to you.
Free Miracle Spring Water.
These frustrations. They have told you that they can solve your problems.
Male Vitality X, brother.
They can punish the people who you hate. They can elevate you. They can create your ideal of a fair world, even if others might see it as unfair. They can give you an edge over the competition. They can give you a magical lens through which to view the world more clearly than others. They can give you the appropriate series of behaviors that will result in all of your dreams finally being realized. Whether on the individual scale or the societal one, they promise big, revolutionary changes, but the results are significantly less
Jordan
dramatic.
Peterson, dude.
than the
What is he even
promises.
doing?
Neither you nor the world undergoes fundamental changes of the sort that you were promised. Demagogues are insidious creatures.
True.
They say to you, oh, once you give me power, I'm going to use it on your behalf. But then, they use it selfishly. And you are by then so invested in them that you defend them as they fuck you over. And they say to you, well, once you buy my book, once you listen to my speech, you're going to be primed for success. And they give you a few nuggets of basic wisdom that could have filled a pamphlet. But they extend it artificially. And you end up forgetting most of it. And the only person who achieves success is a demagogue who now has your money and your loyalty.
Yep.
The oldest scam in the world, yet we fall for it.
And who gets the power out of that?
Over and over and over again. Why? Because we want to believe that a demagogue can do what they say. We want to believe that if we give them power, they will remake the world for us. We want to believe that if we give them money, they'll give us all the secrets to success that have eluded us for our entire lives. And here's where you're expecting me to tell you that I'm not like them. I'm not a demagogue, right? Wrong. I am a demagogue. I want to make exactly the deal with you that I just criticized, that I just dismantled.
At least he's honest about it.
I want you to give me power
Shush.
and wealth so that I can change the world for you and give you the secrets of success.
Okay, one's coming and say hi before I took off.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Back? What?
Yeah.
Tonight?
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's like, you know what time it is, right?
Yeah. I'm out car shopping.
At like 1 in the morning?
Yes. I see a car. Jack, Jack, Jack. Do, 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 do.
Are you doing something that is questionable?
I mean, I did just buy two car tires on a tweaker for $50.
Oh shit, it's Bite Dog. Yeah, I know, Bite Dog came out of nowhere.
Bite Dog!
Yeah.
Pushing stolen wheels down the road.
Oh, I knew it. Oh my god, I knew it.
I
don't want this being used as evidence against you. I don't want to also be an accomplice in this. Like, come on now.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know if they were stolen.
Alright, you know, fair enough.
Hey, I'm a third-party buyer here. I mentioned that I need some wheels, and I was going to jack the T-Bird up and take the back
Is that
wheels.
Harley a friend? That's my friend Harley. Like, my roommate's been here. He's, like, taking a nap, probably.
Alright, I'm out.
Alright.
I have Justin with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of been chilling now. It's when I woke up, like, at 10 after my fat nap, after getting sick at work, so.
Me and him are probably going to crash in the back of the truck.
Why don't I just crash in here?
Would you be cool with both of us crashing in here?
Well, I mean, I don't know where he would be able to. Well, I guess you can show him my room and he can be in here, I guess, or something.
I mean, either way, it doesn't really fucking matter. Me and him are, I gotta take off early in the fucking morning
I saw that.
to Rainier to go pick up a truck bed.
Yeah, I saw that, so.
Don't worry, it won't be here that long.
I'm not worried about it.
Your neighbors are gonna be so mad. All they're gonna hear for a couple hours.
I don't think I don't think that's gonna be a big deal. I mean, as long as it's during the day.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna sell the. I got some really nice wheels. I was gonna cut the trailer into a million fucking pieces, but now I'm gonna put those wheels on the trailer and I'm gonna sell them together. I'm like, look at this! You got the shitty trailer with the pimpin' wheels.
Well, if you clean the trailer up a little bit, you could probably get a little more from it. Just a little bit, you know, just give it a little wash down and shit. Nothing too serious.
Yeah, I'll be back tonight though.
Okay.
God damn it.
Well, don't keep Justin waiting.
He's gonna
be like, what the fuck, what do you take for?
I was like, I gotta explain, bro. Oh, you know what? Two of us could sleep in here.
Oh, yeah, I guess in there.
I'll just throw him in the fucking.
Throw him in there.
Yeah, because he's crippled. He doesn't mind
Such a mean way of putting it.
He does. Anyway, so. I mean, he wouldn't do it here. We'd respect you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I got him on a short leash.
Make it a short, tight one.
Huh?
Don't make it just a short one. Make it a short, tight one.
He's happy. There's something I could say on stream, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, don't.
Well,
If you have to question it, and half the time you don't even do that anyway, but if you actually legit question it, yeah, don't.
No, wait. Mute it for a minute.
No.
Just mute it for a half a second.
No.
Come on, just mute it for a second.
No.
Yeah, you're being a bitch. Hey, you wanna go attack somebody? You wanna go attack somebody for me?
Oh, he's just stretching one love.
Come on. Oh, come on, be my attack dog.
He's like the farthest thing from an attack dog, bro. Good luck with that. Wow, leave it to Harley to be like, you know, hey, let's just make a surprise visit. Transition of the garment, but that pops in like right when he walks out. My God. Anyway. Here, let me check this out and then we'll get back into this. Absolutely.
What else we need to discuss on?
I swear to fucking God. Absolute unit. Oh my God, that's a chunk. That is a fat boy. Holy fuck. Oh my goodness, look at you, you sweet. No, why'd you get away from him? Dude, pick that cat up and give him some loves. I'd pick that cat up and give him a lot of loves. That is a sweet boy. Or a sweet girl. That's a sweet kitty. I'm giving that a like. That's a fucking unit of a cat. He's definitely being fed by the entire neighborhood. Yep. He looks like one of those bros that can hardly wipe their own ass. God damn it, Reddit. Some of my coworkers talk about a guy that used to be a big gym bro. I mean, it was so swole that anytime he took a poo, he had to take a shower because he couldn't reach around to wipe butt gains, I guess. Oh my God, how do you get so swole you can't reach back there? Bruh, how do you get so swole that you literally can't reach back there? Like, how do you... What? What if he has to go in public? It's a trade job, so I'm assuming he held it or just watched what he ate. Oh my God. Like... Yeah, let me just hold that shit right all in there. Yep, that's right. Let me just hold it in there all day. Because that's totally a good idea. Oh my God. What the fuck? Anyway.
What makes me different than other demagogues? I think it boils down to this. I'm weirder than they are. And I don't define success by their parameters. I am not the sort of person who'd ever be content with meaningless power. If I'm given power...
I mean, honestly, that's definitely very true of TJ. Like, he's a very unorthodox, very weird character and shit.
Too many people in power are content with fake legacies that only look good on paper.
The dog?
And only in the context of bullshit in society.
I'm on
Who the
kid.
hell would want to be president of the United
I guess
States
to
of
you,
America?
yeah, I am.
That's like being president of the dog shit eaters.
My hair is going gray.
You see nothing.
So
Everyone just turn a blind eye. You won't see
here.
anything here.
Okay, come on.
What?
Come on. There you
Get
go.
in the hat.
There you go, you big bump.
If I could hold this with one eye, I would just do this.
Yeah.
He doesn't see anything.
He's literally...
This doesn't work. Backing up. Trying not to drop this. God damn it.
Okay, how about you lower...
There. Told you to close your fucking eyes.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Putting these in here. Well, actually, you know what? Put them in the smoking room. Nah, this hell bitch.
What is he doing? What the fuck? What?
Hey,
Look what... See what I have to deal for friends?
hey man, I gotta make sure my...
This is what happens when you have friends. Sukov, this is what happens when you have a dog. And friends. Knocking shit
Well, if he's
over.
drank Steel Reserve, I'd tell you, I'd throw you a Steel Reserve and tell you shut up.
Disgusting. Why would I drink that? That's like that. I literally would rather drink my own piss than that. Literally.
Steel Reserve, really not that bad. Like, out of, like...
I've had it because my dad has had it around here before, and that shit is repulsive. Like, I don't...
Steel Reserve what? Just, like, plain-ass Steel Reserve, or, like, Steel Reserve fucking, like, flavored?
Just regular ass Steel Reserve. Just
Okay, yeah, no.
Oh, you get flavored shit?
Yeah, you can get flavored fucking Steel Reserve.
What? Steel Reserve is like the ass of ass beer. That's why I said
No,
I literally would rather drink my own piss. Like, literally. I literally, like, I'm...
Out of all the shit beers, fucking Steel Reserve is the only one I would drink.
I would sooner drink Bud Light than Steel Reserve. And that's saying something.
You have no taste, because I'd take Steel Reserve.
What in the fuck do you mean no taste? Do you see what I drink? Like, what in the fuck?
Move.
Excuse me? With, like, no what in the fuck is he saying? I wouldn't drink either. Well, if I had a gun to my head and here's Steel Reserve, here's a Bud Light, chug one of them. I'm chugging the Bud Light, hands down. I don't give a fuck.
I take the Steel Reserve. Bud Light tastes like ass.
It does, but it tastes less ass. It tastes more like piss water than literal, like, toxic piss. I say Steel Reserve is better than PBR. Well, I said Bud Light, not PBR. And honestly, PBR is definitely better than Steel Reserve. I'd rather drink that than Steel Reserve.
Oh, hell no. I will put it to the hand that fucking PBR is way worse than Steel Reserve.
Oh, man. What's wrong with this kid? I'd rather die than drink PBR.
Yeah. I agree.
Wow. Well, I mean, we can all agree they taste like piss. Let's just put it that way. But if we're putting Steel Reserve between any of these, obviously there's disagreement.
I'm taking Steel Reserve out of anything.
Like, if someone put a gun in my head, I'd take the bullet. You'd be like, I'm not drinking either of these, just shoot me, fuck you.
No, dude, I
value my life. I'd at least just force myself.
We're talking about, like, fucking flavor out of all these shit beers. Fucking Steel Reserve at least has some flavor. I can, like...
What in the... Like...
Yeah, it has, like, if you get... You've had, like, flat...
No, I have not.
Steel Reserve.
I've seen Dad have a fresh one. I'm like, why do you like those? Let me try that. You know, and he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And I took a sip. I'm like, what? And I immediately was like goddamn nearly regurgitated it. Like, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I don't even know how he drinks that shit. I literally would rather see him drink this shit than, like, every fucking day than that.
Steel Reserve's not as bad as you think.
Blue Moon is the only beer I've tried. Blue Moon is actually not bad, at least. Like, Blue Moon's okay. I want to say it's fucking good, but it's alright. Like, I'd get a Blue Moon. Sure. Like, I mean, that's at least fine. I've had that at bars and stuff. If you get that shit on tap, Blue Moon's actually good. Like, get Blue Moon on tap at a bar. That's when it's good. Blue Moon on tap at a bar is fucking tasty, dude. But if you get it in a can, it's, you know, yeah, it's gonna be whatever. It's okay. But if you get a fresh one on tap, and yeah, oh yes, orange peel on that bitch, and then, oh dude, yep, now you're talking. Like, yeah, so Blue Moon, it's actually okay. And at a bar, it's really good if it's on tap. Like, you know, if you find it on tap, try it there. And make sure you get an orange peel in it, because that's going to be good. Like, seriously. Like, that will be good. But in a can, I mean, if you pour it in a glass and then put an orange peel in there and at least kind of substitute it that way, like, it'll be okay. I mean, it's not going to be, like, amazing, but it'll be alright. Just get it on tap. We should play a dog pooper hash with the audience, see if they suss that. No. Because I don't want literal dog shit on my stream. Because, like, no. I know what you're pulling up, and basically literally every single fucking photo in that looks like fucking shit. I've seen hash, and no hash looks like any of those things. See? Someone agrees. What the fuck? What? I'm not gonna show the image, but, like, yeah. There's, like, 6 pictures of, like, can you spot the hash? And honestly, I'm just gonna be honest and fucking blunt with you. Every single image is not hash. Just honest. None of them are. I'm seeing hash that looks like doggo poop. We're gonna have to instill communism on this chat, son. Yeah, well, honestly, we're gonna have to do some strike breaking first. Gotta do a strike break and then fucking instill the communism. Alabama got some shitty hash. No pun intended, but honestly. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I guess I'll pull this video down for a minute. I'll watch more of that TJ video on my own time. I do love it, though. I love how deep and, like, basically with, like, essentially, like, how, like, there's, like, this modern shaman wizard trope that he's doing a little bit. I kind of love that. That's why I love TJ. And out of all the demagogues, I'd want him. I'd want him to lead us all as a demagogue. Oh, yeah, let me get that meme. Here, you don't have to pull it up. I already have it, so I can just find it. Just give me a sec. I'll just go on your, text thing here. Here we go.
Come on, Bob.
Woo! Well, you know what, hold on. I already know that we're gonna have to wait a second.
What?
Another fucking wheel? Oh my god.
Yeah, I got like 16 of these.
What?
Yeah, I got them on sale. You know, good old tweakers on 82nd gave me 16.
Okay, please tell me you're being hyperbolic and those are the only 2 fucking wheels that you have. Please.
No, I have 16 of these.
Please tell me you're not serious.
No, I'm fucking dead serious.
I will literally walk out there right now, and I swear to God, if you're serious, I will slap you.
I got 16 of these bad boys.
I
All
will.
$50.
I will literally slap you if this is serious. If you're.
Where'd my hat go? Oh.
I mean, like, I'm not kidding. Like, how many do you really have?
16.
All right, I'm going out there, and I will slap him. I will slap him if he's serious. You think you can close this shit on me? God, this dog, I swear to God. I get him running to come back, and holy shit, this little fuck. He cuts me off and nearly makes me trip and fall. And I was outside, so it actually was kind of cold. So let me get this jacket on first. Where the fuck is fucking... oh my god, okay, well that happened. I don't want, like, my multi-layered jackets just decide to, like, slip off and do shit like that. That's always fun. By fun, I mean annoying. Oh my fucking god. Oh, sweet baby rays. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're back. We're back to your regular schedule programming. Lamau what? Tweakers gave Harley 16 wheels. No, he did they rob a big rig? No, that's not what happened. He had the 2. Who's a gun baby? Sit. Paw. That boy. There you go. What's a scab? Well, let's look at this. Look at this nice, sweet, fine gentleman. Oh, look at that beautiful specimen of a creature. After God has finished a rattlesnake, the toad and the vampire. Oh wait, the toad and the vampire. You had some awful stuff left over with which he made a scab. Scab is a 2-legged animal with a corkscrew soul, a waterlogged brain, and a combination backbone made by jelly and glue. Where others have hearts, he carries a tumor of rotten principles. Judas Iscariot was a gentleman compared to a scab. For betraying his master, he had a character to hang himself. The scab hasn't. There's nothing lower than a scab. Jack London. Which was followed up by these lovely things. So many training scabs on here. But still better than a lazy union worker. Union workers are without incentive, work harder and be productive. They're the open sore of the modern day worker. I call bullshit. There is a lot of so-called scabs that could teach a lot of union members work ethics, tricks to the trade. Bullshit. And the importance of maintaining customer appreciation. Fuck you. Nope. Although I was against strikes, unless as last resort, I would have never gone some. I imagine it's like I would have never gone to strike to go find a job and break it, if I didn't see one to see how lazy they were. I guarantee you it was something like that. Which one? Like, frankly, like, a lot of union workers tend to be some of the more harder working motherfuckers and shit, and actually know the skills of the trade and know what the fuck they're doing, because they're actually trained on the shit, instead of scabs who usually are just, like, thrown into the fucking workplace and just left to figure it the fuck out. It's just like, what? I mean, all you have to do is just look at the John Deere strike to see what happened when they started sending scabs in for the day. It wasn't even an hour later when ambulances were sent into the fucking work site and shit because of accidents. Literally, not even fucking kidding. All the comments were either scabs defending themselves or normies listening to the scabs. Yeah, because normies don't usually have, like, the arguments on their hip, when it comes to rebuting stupid shit like this. And, like, worth ethic, like, what? Being a fucking bootlicker to the boss and shit, and expecting a fucking pay raise, and expecting them to fucking, like, notice you if you bust your ass hard enough and shit. Like, yeah, right. Because, if that was the case, I'd probably literally be the most top-paying son of a bitch there. But, nope. So... In fact, hold on. There's even a song I think we could play about related to this. Hold on. Yeah, here he is. Let me turn it. Whoa, yep, I knew it. I knew it was gonna be loud. Oh, put it at that volume.
Oh, they look almost human, but something
about them ain't right. A lighter.
Pay no attention to a picket sign. They're called scabs. The lowest life form spawned in nature's lab. They got no brains. They know heart. Scabs are tearing up human beings apart. They
Like you reptilian, blood flows like ice in your veins.
For extraterrestrial recyclers, use shit for brains.
Shit for brains. I love Van Feeney.
When companies do anything they like.
It's honestly sad that due to COVID, no less, that she fucking passed away back in 2021. When I found out about that, I was a little low-key, a little like fucking shocked and just sad.
Scabs are tearing our communities apart. Now before we head our unions, let me tell you when conditions were bad. Understaffed, overworked, underpaid, till we finally got mad. But then when we walked out to protect our rights, they just gave away our jobs to those parasites, to those scabs. The lowest form of life, found in nature's lab, without no rain, they got no heart. Scabs tearing up, communities apart. I could puke watching coworkers turn into weasels and terriers. They must be pod people, hatched by those corporate raiders and insider traders. You know our labor laws are crazy, they're so damn two-faced. They say I haven't been fired, just permanently replaced by scabs. The lowest form of life,
Someone else song,
found in nature's lab.
Two Boats song kind of plays on.
They got no heart. Scabs are tearing our communities apart. Oh, listen to your mama. This isn't idle gab. You're pretty damn low on the food chain when you think you gotta grab your striking neighbors down. I guess you gotta be scab.
Love it has just like a nice little jazzy swing to it too. I mean, it's not too often you get like a nice little jazz swing, you know, to a labor song like that. But it's such a, honestly, I mean, it really is such kind of a sad travesty that, you know, she passed away not too long ago. Almost 2 years coming now at this point. Because, I mean, pretty much like since the very fucking beginning, she's always been like, you know, fighter for the worker and shit. I mean, she went into law school just so she could basically be a defense attorney for unions and workers and shit when it comes to like court cases and shit. And on her off time, when not doing that, she was just going around place to place with a guitar and just playing different tunes and shit. I mean, really, truly, like a special one of kind type of person that, you know, really can't really find too much else anywhere anymore. But she has like a lot of really awesome albums and is also, you know, a very talented musician too. I mean, this song was one of her originals that she did. So, Cuff, what are you doing? You have food, you have water, you don't need to be snooping. Fucking little freak. Actually, I could find another original that she did. She actually had a lot of original songs. Here, there's another one. Hey!
Caesar Chavez, maybe it was Dorothy Day. Some say Dr. King or Gandhi
Goof.
sent them on their way.
Where who you're messing around, you're claim to see. You've been to jail for justice. You believe their company.
Have you been to jail?
It's definitely one of my favorite civil rights / labor songs. Because I have. I mean, that's why I love it so much, because, I mean, I had my moment of, you know, basically being put to jail and justice and shit. I mean, it's not a fun experience, but hey, I definitely take it as a badge of honor. The fuck? People can't be wrong. As unions were against the law, and slavery was fine. Never deny the votes and children work their minds. The more you see history, the less you can deny it. The lost and blood stays on the books, so some who guts deny it. They've been to jail for justice. I wanna shake your hand. I'm sitting here lying down on ways to take a stand. It's only a song for freedom. Know how much that picket line. Have you been to jail for justice? Oh, you're a friend of mine.
Now the law's supposed to serve us, and so are the police. When that system fails, it's up to us to speak our piece. It takes eternal vigilance for justice to prevail. So get courage from your conviction. Let them haul you off to
dorky dog.
jail. Have you been to jail for justice?
Sorry, half the things that my dog does is just purposeful when being a menace. He always loves to do this thing where he just like slaps his paw on things as a way to get my attention. It's just like, you son of a bitch. It's like you're trying to fucking like, you know, just get treats out of me, you fuck. I know what he's doing. It's like that little bastard. But, here. Ken Sellis' defense of Kanye West makes more much sense now. Oh, what's this about? Oh, you know what? I think I heard about this a little bit. Because, Kanye West, like, purchased Parler, I think. And Parler was made by the guy that happens to conveniently be the husband of Candace Owens. So, there's actual, like, business interest as to why Candace Owens is defending him. It's like, go fucking figure, but also it's just ideological bent, too, because Candace Owens is basically just a black Klansman. It's like, yeah, I'm a fucking KKK member, but I'm, like, black because I'm basically blind. Like, I mean, essentially. What was that fucking one movie that, basically did, like, that was part of the premise? Oh my god, I forgot the name of the movie, but oh my god, there was literally a movie about this, essentially, like, what? Or at least, like, there was a joke about it. I think it was actually a fucking, I think it was a Dave Chappelle joke, if I remember correctly. I actually think it was a joke. Like, that, if not Dave Chappelle, like, some other comedian did. I remember, like, this being a bit in something. Like, where it's just like, yeah, I'm black, but because I'm blind, I'm also a Klansman because I don't realize I'm black. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm a white supremacist, but I don't know I'm black, basically. It's just like, I mean, it's just that, basically. That's just what Candace Owens is. It's just literally that joke, in a nutshell. But real. And not blind. It's like, oh my god. I hate that fucking bitch, honestly. I just... But, oh, God forbid if you criticize her, because the right wing will be like, what? I thought you were a leftist. What are you doing being racist now? It's like, what? Like, you're gonna claim that we're being racist? It's like, excuse me? Huh? It's like, yeah, like, that logic works. Says the ones that, like, literally advocate in a continuation of systemic racist bullshit on top of fucking, like... You know, just, like, continuation of, like, you know, racist different cultural norms and shit, criminalization of black people because, oh no, they might have weed, or we have the stereotype that they were just, like, a bunch of fucking gangbangers or some shit. It's just like, give me a fucking break. It's like, oh yeah, but, but the Grace is being racist this one time. It's just like, oh. It's like, nope. Not even close, bitch. It's like projection much there. Nurse so cute in his little hat. It's not a little hat.
Well, it turns out Candace Owens had a very good reason to defend Kanye West even after he said something...
There's never a good reason. I mean, yeah, maybe there's a financial reason for it, but it's still not a good reason.
...indefensible. Kanye West, as we learned today, is buying Parler. The New York Times explains the service's parent company, Parliament Technology, said on Monday that Mr. West, who now goes by Ye, would help Parler continue the fight against censorship.
Dude, his fucking eyeballs look soulless as fuck here, dude. Like, he literally looks like some soulless, like, being. Like, oh my lord. Like, I don't see, like, a fucking conscious, like, rational individual in those eyeballs. Especially, like, how, like, shadowed and sinister it looks under this fucking photo. Like, oh my god. And why is his teeth, like, fucking, like, reflective? Like, how are they so goddamn reflective? Did he, like... Are those, like, grills or something? I mean, I really can't tell. I mean, at least from this distance. I mean, I don't think they are. I think he's just I think he just literally has, like, his teeth so, like, kept up to where they're basically like the sun in your mouth, you know, when it comes to how bright they are. Like, that shit's uncanny. That gets creepy. Hence, you know, why I'm, like, mentioning it, because it's just like, what, oh my god. It's like, yeah, like, I mean, obviously dental hygiene is important, but, like, holy fucking shit, you don't need to basically make it, like, brighter than the sun in your mouth.
A little over a week after Twitter and Instagram restricted Ye's accounts in response to anti-Semitic remarks that he posted, did not disclose financial details. In a world where conservative opinions are considered to be controversial, we have to make sure we have the right to freely
They always have been.
express ourselves, Ye said in a statement released by Parliament. Okay, interesting. It makes sense. He was banned from Twitter and Instagram for saying something that was blatantly anti-Semitic, so of course he's rich enough to buy his own social media platform where he can guarantee that he won't be banned. So where does Candace Owens come in? Well, I'm sure that you've heard by now, but the CEO of Parler is owned by George Farmer, who happens to be the husband of Candace Owens. Now, Parler is also a platform that is dying. As the New York Times explains, Data.ai, which monitors...
Which also means that if, you know, it's announced that Kanye bought it, that means there's potentially more people that are going to go on that platform. So that's help revive it. It's all financial business interests, of course, because they're a bunch of capitalist and for-profit fucking pieces of parasitical shit. And it's all business to these fucking people. Because at the end of the day, especially to these propagandists and fucking far-right fringe fuckbags, like, that's all what it is to them. It's just fucking business. Oh, this is just business. Come on, man. I mean, bada bing, bada boom, people make a buck, what's the problem? Oh, it's just like, that's basically how they fucking feel about it. They don't give a shit.
Parler downloads across Apple's iOS platform and Google Play dropped to 21,000 in the third quarter of the year and 58,000 in the first quarter. Twitter, by comparison, had 4.5 million downloads in the third quarter, down from 5.2 million. Data.ai estimated that Parler had 706,000 monthly average users in the middle of the year, compared with an estimated 2.8 million iPhone users on Truth Social. So hear me out for a second. If you...
Damn. Truth Social actually gets more attention than... oof. Oof.
Kanye West as his friend, that what he's saying isn't necessarily anti-Semitic. Maybe it just doesn't make sense. Perhaps he wasn't as eloquent in explaining his thoughts. And you instruct him to realize that this is censorship and perhaps he can do something about it with the vast amount of wealth that he has. Well, now you kind of understand why someone like Candace Owens would defend Kanye West, even when people like her own boss, Ben Shapiro, denounced what he said as anti-Semitism, because she absolutely benefits from Kanye West buying her husband's company. And her husband, on Fox Business, also defended Kanye West because he doesn't want to make it seem as if Kanye West said anything bad. Really, this is about free speech. And, you know, it's very, very good that Kanye West takes matters into his own hands, takes free speech into his own hands, and purchases his dying company. Take a look at what he had to say on Fox Business.
But I wonder what you think about what Kanye...
Oh my god, why does he look like he's trying to be a Twitch streamer or something? Like, what the hell?
about last week, of course...
He literally does look like he's missing the microphone in front of him. Like, he literally looks like he's trying to be a Twitch streamer or something, dude. What the fuck?
When he started talking about
why the headphones?
Community, some say it was anti-Semitic. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think
Jesus, what? Oh my God!
She said yesterday in his podcast interview from Miami, the Drinks Champ one, that was a mistake, and I think
Is he trying to do an accent?
that's important to highlight.
That's important to highlight. He is trying to fucking do some posh accent. Oh my god, I hate this guy. I barely know or really give a fuck about who he is personally, outside of him just being another right-wing cretin shitbag, but oh my god, now I fucking... He has now suddenly become competitive with the most punchable face. Like, Ted Cruz is up there, fucking Ben Shapiro especially, with that, like, excuse for facial hair that he has on his fucking, face, and, Dave Rubin's another one. Like, there's a lot of people that have some very punchable faces, but this guy's now up there. He's now, like, a strong competitor. Oh my god.
The tweet that he put out last week, as far as I could understand it, was an incorrect reference to DEF CON. Obviously worded very badly, and I think...
That doesn't make it better!
As he said yesterday, a mistake. He's obviously willing to have conversations that plenty of people want to have, and I think he's trying to engage in the free speech.
Like what? Like, oh, hey, you know, we want to just engage in a conversation that, like, yeah, Jews run the world and we, you know, think they're, like, some sort of globalist cabal. It's like, no. They're, like, that, like, what? That's literally just anti-Semitic Jewish question fucking Nazi garbage. Like, no. There's nothing meritable about, you know, trying to have a conversation about these ideas. Like, fuck off. Fucking Nazi.
Specific comments about his personal...
I mean, he literally looks like he'd be a perfect candidate for, like, you know, the fucking SS as, like, a lieutenant or something.
Comment because I'm not him.
Lieutenant of the fucking, you know, 9th Panzer, SS Panzer Division, you know, of the, you know, like, having, like, the, you know, fucking goddamn, like, you know, Sturmgewehr on his back ready to go and shit. Like, I mean, just, like, warping back into 44 and shit in Berlin. I mean, he'd look like a candidate.
He's now in a place where he's fallen victim to the cancellation narrative. Whether or not what he said offended some people, of course, is up for conversation. But in all worlds, the only cure for wrong ideas is more ideas. It's more speech, not less speech, right? And so censorship in...
Unless it's, like, literally fucking stochastic, terroristic, fucking Naziistic shit where it has no place in a fucking, quote, marketplace of ideas and shit, where all it is there to fucking stem violence and discrimination against a fucking group of people. Like, there's a difference between hate speech and stochastic terrorism and free speech, honestly. Like, to me, there is a distinct line in the sand when it becomes between the two.
Never a good thing, and this is what we and he agree on, and we have been very excited to work with him on putting this deal together.
Listen, some people might claim that Kanye West made anti-Semitic remarks, but really, I'm just happy that he's engaging in the marketplace of ideas, and you can't engage in the marketplace of ideas if you're being censored by big tech. So in order to avoid being censored by big tech, maybe you purchase my dying website, and then you never have to worry about this again. Very clever, very insidious. Seems like they may be taking advantage of Kanye West here. I can't prove that.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe this is all a coincidence, but, I mean, the relationship between Kanye West and Candace Owens has always been a little bit bizarre. He very clearly looks up...
I mean, not really. I mean, it's not really bizarre because at least ideologically, they agree with each other. Like, Candace Owens is just a fucking anti-Semitic fucking far-right Nazi-peddling fucking fascist who is used as, like, the token black girl, you know, to the far-right and shit as a way to be like, see, we're actually not racist and not far-right and white supremacist in nature because, look, black lady. Like, that's, you know, like, she's just literally there for that. And you know, and fucking Kanye West is basically, you know, becoming, you know, essentially the same when it comes to a lot of his anti-Semitic far-right tropes and shit, being like a big fanboy of fucking Trump, you know, for a minute, and being buddy of Candace. Like, it's not like weird or unusual in my mind. Like, it makes sense, at least, you know, from an ideological perspective, but considering that there's a financial interest in it too, that's just more icing on the cake in my mind. Where it's just like, oh, well, it makes even more sense. Like, I mean, because it's just, like, more pieces to that puzzle of, like, you know, how intertwined they really are and shit. Because it's all just a fucking financial interest game to them. Because at the end of the day, they're fucking capitalists that are looking, you know, to maximize profit over the expense of fucking others. And they don't give a shit how, you know, the fucking fanboys and their loyalists and underlings, you know, how they are in their fucking socioeconomic conditions. So they fucking expand their influence, wealth, and power. That's all they care about. They don't give a fuck about anything else, because at the end of the day, they're fucking fascists.
very influential right-wing propagandist, and now
They only care about their own power.
it's paying off literally for Candace Owens to have this relationship with Kanye West, aside from the clout aspect. But Farmer mentioned the Drink Champs podcast that Kanye West was on, and he made it seem as if Kanye West atoned for the anti-Semitic things that he said. Ask yourself this question. After the host of that podcast apologized for airing the interview with Kanye West
Citing hurtful comments about... Wait. Hurtful George Floyd comments? Oh my god, is this some other shit that I missed? What? What the fuck did he say about that? Oh my god, do I even want to know? Is it just like the same far-right tropes of like, oh, he was a druggie that wasn't an angel because he was, he had fentanyl in his system or something, question mark. Is it just that shit, basically? Oh, he's just some gangbanger thug black guy that had fent in his system, so, what happened to him was okay. Is it basically just that racist garbage fucking filth? Like, cause, I mean, that's like beyond debunked at this point. Like, I think there was like, I think literally when it came to the autopsy, there was minute traces of fentanyl, because he, I think, did it in the past. So there was a little bit left over in his system, but it was nowhere near enough to have like any effect on his body at that point, because it was just left over in his system. So even with the whole like, you have fat in the system, it's like, it's literally irrelevant because it had no impact on what happened to him. It literally had no impact, and he wasn't high on it at the time or anything. He was a sober dober who just happenstance had to have a counterfeit. It's like, I mean, it's like, how many fucking times, in, one's life do they potentially have a counterfeit bill? I honestly, personally, guarantee you, I've had a counterfeit bill without knowing it. Like, oh, you get like some cash back and, you get a 20 or some shit, or you get like $100 back or some shit, or, or some shit like that, or a $5 back or a $1 back, some dollar, and it happens to be a counterfeit, but it's, no one really notices and no one gives a fuck, it's just like, unless it's one of those higher bills and shit. But, even then, it's just more or less, happenstance if you happen to have it. It's like, I mean, it's not like you're literally fucking doing it. I mean, it just means that we can't accept the bill. If you have another $20 bill or another bill or some shit, we can accept that. But unfortunately, this one's a counterfeit. That doesn't mean you're the one who did it. Like, it just means, by law, they can't accept the bill. Like, because it's not an actual currency. That doesn't mean you're inherently guilty of having the fucking counterfeit. It's not like So, I mean, especially with that logic, I mean, George Floyd was just literally just happened to have a $20 counterfeit, didn't even know, because, like, there's just an off chance that people are probably going to have that shit, just out of happenstance, not out of because they're doing it. So it's just like any fucking argument about it, it's just, it can easily be rebutted, and it's just bullshit. I mean, because even if there is, like, some sense of guilt on the guy, it never justified anything that happened to him. Like, like, the most that could ever be justified is him being detained for a minute and, maybe taken to, the fucking department for a minute, to have things, cleared off and interview him and shit like that and have him let go or something. Like, that would, like, honestly, nothing would have ever come from it if that's what happened. But no, like, there was, some personal beef that fucking cop had of the guy, and he wanted to fucking take his vengeance out on the motherfucker and killed him. And did it purposely. It's like, they could have handled it in such a, like, and it's the fuck thing about cops, honestly. It's like, every time I see videos of cops fucking up and doing heinous fucking shit, I can immediately see how, like, oh, here's how you deal with the situation where nothing happens out of it, and, even if someone is guilty of a thing, it could be done in a way to where no one's hurt, or injured, or this could have been done in a way where it's not escalatory in nature. Like, I mean, it's like, how in the fuck do just random bumfuck civilians like me and shit, just random Joe Schmo motherfuckers, look at situations where cops should be doing their fucking jobs and know how to do their jobs better than them? It's like, fuck. I mean, it's just like shit. Honestly, at this rate, get people who don't want to be cops to be cops because they're literally are going to be more like what a cop should be than actual cops. Like, fuck, get me on, like replace, cops with people like me and shit. We actually be doing our fucking job. Like, fuck. And frankly, honestly, if that was the case, I probably would, be an officer in that case. Because, I mean, if there was, if, like, police was actually, what they should be, when it comes to protecting and serving the community, I actually would, be open to the idea personally. Because I don't mind, having a job or a trade where, in fact, I like it, where it's, serving the community in some way, and servicing the community in some way, shape, or form. That's why I personally don't mind my current job, because it's doing that. Like, I hate the dynamics about it, but the actual job in itself, I don't mind. I actually kind of like because of that. Because, I like making sure that, the community's kept up in some way. And being, in a food-based type of department and a grocery type of trade job, it's a necessity, that helps, the community in a lot of ways. The dynamics about that are fucked and shitty. Granted, yes, but I mean, at the end of the day, the need and the principle and the premise of what it is still, a good thing, and that's why it needs to be, critiqued and challenged and criticized, when it fucks up. I mean, that's why it's so important. That's why, defunding the police or at least that whole movement and, criticizing the police and holding them accountable and shit is so important. And, why, on a broader level, labor movement is important. And also heavily criticizing, at least especially in the concept and premise of how police unions are concurrently, needs to be challenged and criticized. Because, I mean, police unions are basically supposed to, like, protect the workers from their boss, right? Well, police unions are not that. They're there to protect the workers from the people that they're servicing, not their boss, which in this case would be the state. When it comes to, like, and if police unions were the ones, there to hold their bosses / the state accountable to make sure that their jobs are more efficient, safer, and more accountable and shit, it'd be a totally different story about how people view their unions. But because of them being basically the rare exception about how unions are constructed and formed, and basically being the exact antithesis of how they're supposed to be, it's why people challenge their shit, including me. Because I'm not, like, inherently against the idea of a police union necessarily, but they need to actually be in line with what they're supposed to be about, and they're fundamentally against that idea. So it's just like they're basically like the anti-union union almost, because they're like also the pretty much the only unions that will actually go against other unions and fuck with their shit. And will do police brutality and strike break, their shit, and strike break, other unions and their fucking activism and shit, instead of standing in line, with them and helping them out a little bit. They're state thugs. Well, that's kind of the whole point I'm making. I mean, like, they are, the whole, like, the reason why police unions are the way they are, because they enforce that shit. That's kind of the problem, which is why the premise of, of it at the end of the day, I'm not inherently against, but it needs to be fundamentally reworked and challenged and changed. and fundamentally, like, from the ground up, structured fundamentally differently. And honestly, also community members, who aren't necessarily a part of law enforcement or police or whatever the fuck, but are in there to be like an independent body within the union to also make sure that things are kept in check and in balance when it comes to these things, so they don't become corrupted as how they are concurrently. Like, I mean, so honestly, with how I want to see it, like, and how I would do it is, dismantle the current police unions and just literally form totally new ones under this premise, and, have them, form naturally from that, essentially, from there. But have it, that, specific national established, and then just, as, like department by department join in on that specifically with this enforced by law in mind. When it comes to this idea, it honestly would probably be better in the long run, because a part of it, at least in my mind, will also be by law that when it comes to strikes and picket lines, especially with other unions and their efforts, by law, they are not allowed whatsoever to fucking, go in and try to strike break and to let scabs through. If anything, if they want to, go there, They have to, you know, it's like they're there for solidarity reasons, not because they're going to try to strike break. But obviously, you know, when it comes to police departments doing that one by one on their own, a lot of them aren't going to do that. So it's just like, I mean, it basically will also be kind of a sense of like which police departments are actually willing to somewhat hold themselves accountable. Like, honestly, I could kind of see Uvalde being, you know, one of these type of towns that, you know, have a, you know, police union like the idea I have in mind, just because of their shit. Like, they pretty much fired the entire police department under the school district, especially. So, like, I mean, they're definitely reworking their shit. Minneapolis is another one. Like, I could see where this concept actually can work, but it actually needs to be done so by federal law enforced. Like, it can't just be like, oh, they just do it on their own and it just becomes the same shit. Like, it has to be, you know, done very specifically. I actually remember Vosh talking about this a little bit. I saw, like, a clip of him talking about this a little. And what he was saying was essentially is kind of what I'm saying, and I kind of tend to agree with him a little bit. I forgot what the video was. I think it's in my YouTube history, actually. Hey, what's up, Kobe? What's up, ba? Just watched a new Amazing Atheist video. Yeah, I got through most of it, but then my friend showed up halfway through watching it, so I kind of got through like 2/3 of it overall, but I was going to watch the rest of it on my own time. I also liked the last third of it. I got to the point where he was talking about, second half was one of the best. God damn it, I knew I should have just kept going with that video. Because I got to the point where he was talking about, am I different from these other demagogues? Well, to one degree. Like, he was basically, you know, saying that, yeah, I am a demagogue, but I differ in this way, and thus why, you know, I'm more of honest with my, like, I kind of got to that point, but beyond that, like, that was about as far as I got. Kind of when he was talking about the demagogue element of his video. Honestly, it was a fucking excellent video, so, you know, from what I was watching so far. So, I mean, I definitely, you know, I think we'll go back to it here in a sec, but here, we'll check out the rest of this real quick.
Apologized for
Don't mind me watch it here. I'll probably watch it again anyway. Well, yeah, I same here. Honestly, like, I definitely want to watch it again, because there's definitely some things I want to re-listen to, you know, to really, like, totally absorb, you know, when it comes to his video, because I could tell that he was very deep just from the get-go, so I definitely want to absorb the video, you know, more. Yeah, so I definitely will probably watch it again a couple times.
West, Kanye West then said, what we're about to see. Does it really sound like he's apologetic about his anti-Semitic remarks?
I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. He said a prayer for 8 minutes.
Huh?
They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look,
oh my god, it literally was what I was talking about earlier, wasn't it? Oh my god. It's like, oh yeah, fentanyl. Oh my. Dude, like, this is even worse, though, because this is, like, beyond conspiratorial. Like, this is, like, unhinged, like, crazy fucking talk. Like, what the fuck is he even talking about? Like, he had roommates who did a prayer for 8 minutes, like, magically inject him with fentanyl, and, like, thus prophecy was fulfilled and he died or something. Like, what in the actual fuck is he talking about? Like, what in the fuck is he talking about? Like, what? I like the part where he's talking about demagogues and showing clips of people on Joe Rogan's podcast when it seemed like he was going to say he wasn't one show to clip him. Yeah, I love that transition. I got to that point. Like, it was about, like, a minute after that point is where I got to. Like, after that, I didn't get any farther. But, yeah, we'll get back to it and check it out, though, for sure.
he wasn't even on his neck like that.
All right, I want to be careful.
What? He wasn't even on his neck like that? Literally, the video says otherwise. I think this played when I was at work earlier on autoplay. Human Support is a great channel. I love the Human Support.
Wait a second, but tell me, could you even really run this interview? Because Mav didn't run my interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They blocked me out. The Jewish media blocked me out.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's deeply...
The Jewish media blocked me out. Well, that doesn't sound like a Nazi talking point.
apologetic about his anti-Semitic tweet. deeply, deeply saddened by that. Now notice how he cited a propaganda film by Candace Owens in that same video. And now Kanye West is supposedly going to have dinner with Donald Trump.
Oh my
He'll
God.
convince Trump to join Parler, I guess. Ask yourself this question, Kanye. Why would Trump join Parler?
He has
a
Truth
valuable
Social.
social media platform when he has his own that's currently doing pretty well. Like,
Yeah.
Truth Social wasn't doing great at first, but the numbers have increased now that Trump has been using the platform more frequently. Why would he?
And also, yeah, and I feel like a part of that actually is because there are probably some progressive liberal / like lefty types that probably make sock accounts / troll accounts just so they can observe. You know, just so that, you know, because, I mean, the only real reason why, you know, we get a lot of different posts from there is because there are people that are sitting for the mud and doing, you know, God's work, if you know what I mean, you know? Or it's like, yep, they're trudging through the hell, you know, they're in the trenches, you know? So it's like, gotta respect those people, you know? It's like, my heart goes out to them because they're having to observe some shit that is probably just like, it'll make anybody stir crazy, honestly. So, I mean, it's like, I mean, even I would, like, it's the reason why I honestly, like, I've thought about making, like, a troll account on Truth Social before. Or the reason why I haven't is because, do I really want to expose myself to all that shit on, you know, even, like, on any, like, portion of, like, a basis, like, at all, even for, like, an hour? Do I really want to do that? No. So, I'm just like, nah. Not gonna do that. Fuck that. Nope. This voice used to throw me off because he doesn't look like he would have that voice. But that was dumb, so I don't care anymore. I mean, every now and then he still kind of throws me off because I feel like he'd be like, hey, what's up, man? He would kind of have, like, you know, that type of voice, but nah. He's just kind of like a very soft, cuddly teddy bear of a gay man. And it's cute. Like, he's just like the gay lumberjack, bro. I mean, he lives in Portland, so the whole, like, lumberjack PNW aesthetic, you know, he has it, you know, pretty well. Like, when he looks like a trucker. Yeah, that's another Pacific Northwest aesthetic, is either looking like a lumberjack or a trucker. Like, honestly, I'm not kidding. Like, maybe the hat, not as much, like, if that trucker hat, you know, maybe, like, you know, that aesthetic isn't really there as much, but, yeah, everything else, though, it's there. The Pacific Northwest has, like, that aesthetic a little bit. But I think for good reason, though, because it's unintentionally actually pretty warm. Like, the lumberjack / trucker aesthetic is actually warm attire. So, yeah. It works.
Platform when he has his own. Makes no sense, right? Parler's dying. If less people use it, everyone has a disincentive from using that app. Why would they use that? Because of you? It feels like Candace Owens is exploiting Kanye West. Now, having said that, though, I'm not going
I mean, yeah, it is. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm here for it.
to
let him be exploited. Like, let him waste his money. He's a billionaire, rich fuck cocksucker. Like, am I supposed to have empathy for him? Fuck no. I don't care. I don't care that he's bipolar either and shit. Like, shit, let him be exploited. Let him, like, you know, waste his money and shit. Because honestly, at that point, he's just draining his influence and draining his fucking wealth and shit. Even though, in his weird alternate reality, he thinks he's gaining more wealth and power and shit doing shit like this. But, you know what they say? Bipolar does not make you racist. Huh? No. I mean, he is legitimately bipolar, but he's an adult and is well aware of that, but he pretty much, he don't care. Like, he, you know, refuses to take his medication when it comes to that shit, and wants to spout, like, a lot of his anti-Semitic shit and stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, on top of being, you know, fucking, like, one of these right-wing peddlers, you know, when it comes to this ideology, so, I mean, a lot of it is just, at the end of the day, me really not supposed to, like, be, it's, like, a lot of it's just not, you know, based on any, like, real merit outside of just him being a fucking far-right shitbag, really. I mean, he understands himself, he knows that, you know, he has these issues and shit, but refuses to do anything about it besides just having more yes-men surrounding him. That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean... I don't know how it does, but I don't think it does. Zooks, I literally just gave you, like, some frontline the other day, and how in the fuck are you still being all, like, scratchy, bro?
Is he mentally ill? Yes, and that's sad. However, this is a grown man with lots and lots of money, so he gets to choose who he associates with, and he's associating with someone who's just a grifter. Like, when Trump was running for president, Candace Owens was anti-Trump, so she's just saying what she needs to make money and further her own career. So it's not necessarily that absurd and unrealistic to think that she may be using Kanye West to get him to purchase her husband's dying company. Because why would you stay with the ship and go down with it when you can make a little bit of cash off of it? Now, look, who knows? We don't have the details, so this may just be conjecture by me. Maybe he's buying it for like $20. Kanye West has been entrenched in right-wing circles now for years.
$20.
So they got him to believe that he was censored. Even though if anyone posted what he posted, we know that that would get deleted immediately. Right?
No shit.
So in order to, I guess, engage...
It's just because he has, like, the privilege of being an influential rich fuck. I mean, he pretty much had it up for a little bit, but nonetheless, it still censored because it was staunchly anti-Semitic as fuck. Like, obviously, it was going to be taken down eventually.
On your own social media website, it's all very stupid. But
I've heard people say bipolar can make you believe crazy conspiracies, but if a crazy conspiracy makes you believe it, makes you believe it's racist, you were probably racist already. Yeah, probably. Because, honestly, like, I mean, I've known people who are bipolar, and, like, the people I've known who are, none of them believe in weird, crazy conspiracy theories. Like, I mean, because, like, I mean, a lot of it's just based on, like, you know, radical changes in emotion, really. Like, you know, because that's kind of what bipolar is. It doesn't mean that, like, oh, you're, you know, likely to believe in crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, honestly, if there is any mental illness that probably would do that, it'd be schizophrenia, not bipolarism. I mean, if anything, you know, there is probably a small likelihood that maybe, you know, like Kanye West also has, you know, schizophrenia potentially. I mean, I don't fucking know. That's just assumption, so I'm not going to say that he does, but, I mean, there's possibility, considering how, like, unhinged he is when it comes to his quirky fucking conspiracy ideas. It's also credited Ice Cube with turning him on to these BHI and Semitic conspiracies. Oh my god, how far Ice Cube has fallen. Would you knock it off, bro? Fucking goofball.
Don't care that much. If Kanye West wants to spend his money on a dying social media website, have at it. It's not going to stop people from using Truth Social. They're not going to switch over to Parler because of Kanye West. I mean, what is the overlap of Kanye West fans who enjoy his music and conservatives who would jump ship?
I know some people who are bipolar who are prone to buy into conspiracy theories feel like schizophrenia and bipolar have a big overlap. To an extent, I think. I do feel like, you know, bipolar, schizophrenia probably do have an overlap, but I wouldn't know how much of an overlap there is. But I'm sure there honestly is an overlap, you know, between the two. Because when you're schizophrenic, I mean, you're very prone to have your, you know, radical emotional change because of, well, being schizophrenic. Like, you might be, you know, content and fine, but out of nowhere, like, because you're having a schizophrenic episode, you're going to get emotionally manic and shit, you know? So, I mean, I do think there is, like, a sense of overlap to it. So, I just won't necessarily know how much of an overlap there is. Best thing Ice Cube ever did was NWA, and all of his verses written by Dr. Dre. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just like, I mean, I wonder how much Ice Cube really did believe in the shit that he did, or was he just like, oh, I don't, but because I'm being directly affected, fuck them, but now that I'm not, well, it's all okay. Like, I mean, it kind of makes me wonder how much of him was, you know, being a real narcissist and shit. Would you not get the fuck off? There's literally just almonds in here, dude. Fuck. Stop it.
And abandon Trump's Truth Social. It just doesn't seem like a very large demographic, right? I'm sure that the application will have like a bigger bump because of Kanye West, but overall, I don't think that he's going to save it. Like, do conservatives actually value what Kanye West says because they appreciate his art?
Ice Cube just makes shitty moves now, I think. And also, yeah, I think he also like will do shit on like CSS or CSI or whatever the fuck it is, or Law and Order. Yeah, Law and Order SVU quote opened Ice Cube's eyes supposedly that not all cops are bad. I honestly feel like he had those opinions before then. That was just like a cop out, so he at least had a excuse. ACAB, true. ACAB, fuck cops. All cops are Derek Chauvin.
They're cheering him on because he's saying the propagandistic things that was peddled to him by right-wing propagandists like Candace Owens, who are constantly in his ear. So they're using him as a tool. They don't actually care about what he has to say. They don't respect him. But yet, he's happy to be their useful idiot. He's a grown man, so if he wants to waste his money on this, have at it.
Well, of course. But it's because he's a demagogue. So, not surprised.
What you
Dr. Dre Rose verse on Fuck the Police, so who knows if he ever gave a fuck about anything. Yeah, honestly. Let's go on saying it's just like, does he really actually like hold the views that he does, or was it all just performance? Which honestly, at this point, I strongly feel like it was primarily performance. Here, well, speaking of performance, though, here, let's look at that TJ video we were looking at earlier. Check it out. Let's finish it up. Here, go back a little bit.
And only in the context of bullshit society.
Bullshit society.
Who the hell would want to be president of the United States of America? That's like being president of the Dog Shit Eaters Club.
Dr. Dre seems like a cool dude, though. He does.
Who the hell would want to be CEO of a Fortune 500 company that's just an overpaid whore who doesn't even do the honest work of giving people orgasms?
Because, well, being a Fortune 500 company owner and shit basically means that you can get fucking golden parachutes and stock buybacks and more money and more wealth and power, you know, to exploit more people. It takes a certain breed of reptilian to really, you know, do something like that.
Things for money and prestige. But to me, money and prestige are chump change compared to the real prize. Being a figure of almost mythical greatness whose name rings through the annals of history, only that level of achievement is worthy of my massive ego.
Conan the Barbarian.
Seeing my species waste its potential.
Yeah, Venom, is that like, you know, hey, Venom, is all this epicness right here fucking, you know, like, doesn't age well? Does this not age well?
Being a figure of almost mythical greatness whose name rings through the annals.
You're a middle-aged man, TJ. He is. I mean, he is now.
Of my massive ego. On top of that, seeing my species waste its potential on garbage is painful.
True.
I want to help them. But the only way I can help them is if I have the authority of a crown. The only way to change the paradigm is to seize control.
Ancient meme. It is an
And
ancient
the only way
meme.
to seize control of this world is not conquest, it's not fear. It's through the overwhelming mandate of a sizable and passionate chunk of the population. It need not be most people.
The visual effects of Conan didn't age well, and we just saw some visual effects of Conan that were epic as fuck. So, I rebuke you, sir.
A number of them. I told you that I have one power. Now I need to tell you what I intend to do with it. First, let's talk about what must be pruned away. We must remember that just because
Fascists.
we've been raised in a particular paradigm does not
Capitalism.
mean that the reality that we know is worth preserving.
True.
Oftentimes, people want change, but then when confronted with it, to try to have some resolve. Because here's a list of things that need to be abolished. Religion. Let us be
Based.
freedom matters. And an important freedom since the dawn of time has been the freedom for people to believe in things which explain the universe. spiritual needs as human beings. However, the idea that these belief systems should be in any way codified, or shown favoritism, or given institutional power must be eliminated. Human beings are largely a product of their environments, and we need to create an environment where a person's beliefs are seen as their own private matter. If you believe that snakes are sacred, and the letter H is a sign from the universe, you're free to believe that, and you're even free to share it on a personal level. But it should be contextualized as your belief, and be treated as a personal thing. Any attempt to make an argument or set a policy based on your personal beliefs should be roundly rejected.
True.
Race. The notion that one human being is fundamentally different than another based on skin color is an idea for which we should have no toleration. All human beings are different from one another based on their unique qualities as individuals. Some people are smarter than others. Some are faster. Some are cooler under pressure. Some are attentive, others are oblivious. Some attributes can be changed with little effort or a lot, and others cannot.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you can use a person's skin tone
Dude, that fucking flag is really annoying.
or body morphology to determine anything about their personal qualities is absolute trash.
Oh, well, that flag oh my god. I'm like, that flag is annoying, and then this flag shows up. It's like, oh, well, there's that. I mean, which really validates TJ's point, more or less, which is why I think he's showing this footage. That one's what, yeah, exactly. I think that's why I'm like, huh, why do I feel like there's something to Tim to this? It's like, yeah, that flag's annoying right there, and then, you know, there's, well, shit. Well, and then there's the other one.
To determine anything about their personal qualities is absolute trash.
And then there pops in this fuck. It's like, gross. I mean, it's like, I had a strong urge to burn the flag that the other guy was waving, but now I really got an urge to burn that flag. Because of mainly the reasons what TJ's saying, honestly. Which, again, is why I think he chose this footage. Because, I mean, these type of fucking people is what he's criticizing fundamentally. I mean, honestly, these type of people aren't the only ones that do this shit either. I mean, like, there's, like, it's like the Kanye types who are, like, fucking anti-Semitic, racist, black Israelite types and shit. You know, do similar stuff. There's, like, far-right Hindu nationalists in India that do similar shit. You know, the fucking hardcore Zionists in Israel that do that to Palestinians. You know, like, regardless of, like, what fucking stripe, you know, or what type of cloth, you know, they're made out of and shit when it comes to this type of idea, it all comes from the bigger fucking, you know, cloth and shit at the end of the day. They're just all different cuts of it. I have a Pantera poster that has a Confederate flag as a small part of the poster, but I love Pantera, so I keep it up. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like, I think Lynyrd Skynyrd is another band that has that shit, because wasn't Lynyrd Skynyrd the one that made the song Sweet Home Alabama or some shit? Like, so, like, I mean, yeah, there's some elements about rock and metal that legitimately have, like, you know, some racist elements into it, like that. You know, like with Pantera and that shit. So, I mean, it's pretty systemically, like, ingrained, honestly, which is why it's such a fucking problem. Like, I definitely would love to have a society where we didn't necessarily see, you know, race as, like, a fundamental thing at all. Outside of just, like, you know, an arbitrary characteristic about a fucking person. Because that's really fundamentally what it is. Like, what melanin you are and what, like, ethnic background you is and shit. It's just a product of the environment of thousands and thousands and thousands of years of, you know, small little tidbits of evolution just because it's adaptation to the environment that, you know, nomadic peoples fucking, you know, traveled there, migrated, you know, from, like, a long bumblefuck time ago. Like, I mean, there's no control over that shit. It's just a byproduct of the environment and over hundreds of thousands of years, give or take, or so, you know, of that shit. So, I mean, it's not like some unique fucking like specialized characteristic about somebody. It's just an arbitrary thing. It's just a byproduct of the environment that one happens to be from. That's why people look different, you know, depending on what region of the earth they're from, because that's all that fundamentally. It's just a byproduct of the environment that people happen to be there for overall, you know, the times humans have been a thing. That's why if you go to Scandinavia, people are white as fuck, but if you go to Africa, people be black as fuck, you know what I mean? It's like, because that's a byproduct of different fundamental environments. I mean, there's nothing unique or special about that. It's just byproduct of the, you know, environment. That's what it is. That's all. I mean, there's nothing unique about it. I mean, it's just environmental shit. I think Pantera was just a product of being told it's about heritage, and as far as I know, they don't stand behind past usages of that flag. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm sure, you know, that's the case. Like, the bands themselves, like, there's definitely, you know, a sense of benefit of the doubt, depending on the band, you know, and shit. Because a lot of bands are, you know, like you said, you know, racist, or you stand behind past usages of certain shit. Like, you know, Pantera being one of them. Sabaton to an extent, because, which, at least I have a Sabaton shirt, so kind of, you know, in my mind a little. Because they have different songs called The Rise of Evil, which is about the rise of the Third Reich, you know, and shit, where this flag is based from. And they have songs called The Wehrmacht and shit, but it's never, like, songs of celebration, obviously. Like, this song, Rise of Evil, is pretty self-fucking-explanatory. I mean, it's, well, the rise of evil, because this shit's, well, evil in nature. You know, so, and also the song Wehrmacht that they did, I think, in their album Coat of Arms. The song's more of a question. It's like, you know, were they men on a leash just, you know, basically ordered like dogs, told what to do, or were they men bought into an idea and did so under conviction? It was kind of like more of a song of question about, you know, what the Wehrmacht was, in a sense, a little bit, and kind of giving a sense of humanity to the individual that might have been, you know, within the army at the time. I mean, it's still a song of criticism and challenge, you know, to the overall idea, but still telling the history of, you know, the whole, you know, element of the war. You know, it's so, you know, and honestly, I've never seen Sabaton played those type of songs live and shit, mainly because there are legitimately some people that misskew these ideas as, like, you know, actually good, you know, so they don't play them live, because there's probably people that might venerate these things instead of looking at what the song's truly fucking about, which is criticizing that shit. Like, the closest they have ever gone to probably, like, celebrating, like, German actions during the war was their song, it was on the song, it was on their album Heroes. I think it was Hearts of Iron, I think it was called. And it was basically about the story of the Knife army, or the Knife German army that was holding the line. So I think the 11th with civilians and whatever manpower that was left in Berlin can go escape to the west and go across the Elbe River before the Soviets marched into Berlin, basically. So the song is essentially about, like, the last second ditch effort of humanity, actually, really, that this general did in the Wehrmacht and in the German army, that kind of defied, you know, Hitler's orders a little bit. And the I think it was either the 11th or the 12th army basically, instead of holding a line with them, essentially done so and defected and evacuated so they could surrender to the American and British forces, which is actually kind of a very heroic song. Hence, you know, it's on the album Heroes. So, like, hence why it's on that album, because it's actually a very humane and heroic song about what Germans in World War II did to, you know, during the war. And it, if anything, defied Nazism in a lot of ways, because it was against a lot of Hitler's orders to defend to the last man standing, and, you know, and to, like, you know, make sure the civilians joined the like the, I think it was called, like, the Volkssturm, like, or something like that, like the People's Storm, I think it was called, where it's literally just ragtag, like, scraping the barrel of, like, Hitler youth, civilians, women, and shit, who are essentially ideological loyalists, you know, just grabbing, like, whatever scrape of fucking weapons and shit were left over, you know, and stuff. Just, you know, shit like that, and essentially defying that, you know. So it's honestly a really good song, but fundamentally, it's just like, it, you know, it all, at the end of the day, just kind of shows that, like, even with this, even if this, type of shit is, kind of like, in power and shit, there are people who will fucking defy it. Because it's fundamentally just, just like kind of the Sabaton song, The Rise of Evil, it's just fundamentally, an idea that people will stand against, even if they're kind of underneath it because of its nature. Even though, despite the fact there are people that might venerate the fucking ideas and shit, even though there's like different elements of like, racism that might be in, rock or metal music and shit. Which unfortunately is legitimately a sad fact that there are some bands, metal and rock, that do kind of have some of that. Which is why I think, some bands like Sabaton are very important because of what I was talking about. Because it kind of, criticizes and challenges that, at least in musically, when it comes to a lot of their songs. I've heard Phil Anselmo from Pantera say that one of his best friends was a black trans woman. Oh, really? Well, that's actually pretty fucking cool. I actually never knew that about Phil, so that's actually pretty fucking dope. Becoming by Pantera is one of the most badass metal songs ever. Oh yeah, dude, Becoming's a really good song. I don't really listen to Pantera too much, but I do know of that song. And Cowboys from Hell. I mean, those are like kind of the two most known songs by Pantera, I think. Especially Cowboys from Hell. But both of those songs are really fucking good either way. Especially Becoming. I haven't heard that song in a while, honestly. I might take a listen to that in a minute. Phil's also an atheist. Which most metal musicians tend to be. Like, there are some exceptions, like Iron Maiden's actually a band that most of them, I believe. I know Bruce Dickinson and Steve Harris are actually Christian. But despite that, we'll actually have certain musics like certain songs that are actually critical of Christianity, like The Greater Good of God, for example, which is actually one of my most favorite Iron Maiden songs. It's like a 8 to 9 minute long song, and it's basically a fundamental challenge and critique against fundamental evangelical Christianity. Despite the fact that most, if not, I think all the band members of Iron Maiden are Christian. So, I mean, it's like, even if there are, metal, heads and bands that are Christian, they usually also will make music that challenges Christianity in a lot of ways. Which I respect, honestly. Which is why, honestly, I love Iron Maiden, because, like, they make a lot of music. Like, I mean, Number of the Beast, for example, and, like, I mean, they made songs that, if anything, kind of have more interest in, like, satanic imagery and shit like that. And that's, despite them being Christian, because they understand the difference. They're smart, despite that. So, I can at least, respect, them, despite their religious views and shit, and, and all that. Actually, no, Bruce Dickinson's son isn't, and he's actually in, I think his son is in a death metal band too, which is pretty fucking awesome. All in the family. Gotta love it. Gotta get them while they're young. If there's any grouping I am okay with, it's grouping kids to be metalheads. Gotta get kids into metal young. When a kid's 5 years old, get him into Iron Man, Judas Priest, and all that shit. Do it, damn it. Get them while they're young. Tens is another great song by Pantera. I don't think I heard that song. Like I said, I haven't listened to a lot of Pantera, but I know of at least a couple of their songs, and I do like them. So, I like them for their singles, I guess you could say. Matt Pepper, who's a guitar for Phil's band Down. Down's a great band. I'll have to check that out. I like when there's like side projects that bigger band, like members of different bigger bands do. Because at least when Marco Hietala was in Nightwish as a bassist, from my understanding, due to depression and other reasons, he's stepped down from Nightwish now. Which is honestly really sad and unfortunate, because Marco Hietala is a fucking awesome bassist and such a character. I love him. I mean, and he also kind of had like a creativity block, for a while, so he didn't really feel like he would be, good, in a sense, when it comes to being a part of bands, so he kind of took a hiatus. So they have a new guy now. I don't know who the name is at the moment. But I mean, nonetheless, like, he had a side project called Tarot that, their music is really fucking good, too. where he was doing his own little side project. I don't know if that's still concurrent, but I know he at least had a little side project going on that was pretty good. And also, System of a Down, like some of the members of them did some side projects as well and shit. So, and also the founder of Nightwish, Thomas Tolapainen, he also did a side project where he actually did the Tales of Scrooge McDuck, which that album is actually pretty fucking awesome. Down's kind of a supergroup, Phil from Pentamer, Pepper from Corrosion of Conformity, and other guys from I Hate God and Crowbar. That's pretty dope. I kind of like little supergroups like that. Actually, Nailbomb is it's like a project that was like that back in the late 90s, where there's members from different bands. I forgot which bands, to be honest, but there was like different members of bands that made like an album together and shit. And then, which is actually pretty notable of an album cover, because it's like a Vietnamese lady with a fucking M16 to her head and shit. It's actually a pretty brutal fucking album cover, I'm not gonna lie. And they also did a live album as well, which has a picture of some of the people that died at Jim Jones as well, when they drank the Kool-Aid. Another pretty brutal album cover. Actually, I'll probably we'll have to show those here in a sec, because I can at least play their music without any copyright issues. But yeah, let's get back to this, just so I can get that fucking Nazi flag off of my fucking screen. Recording vocals for a couple of my bands for new singles tomorrow. Fuck yeah, dude. Nice. Gender.
It's time to stop imposing roles on people based on their genitalia.
Based and absolutely true.
It's time to stop gender segregating colors and interests and clothing and more. I believe it will be the future where a person doesn't think about their physical presentation in terms of gender.
True.
Culture and tradition. It's time to...
I mean, honestly, that's a very short little point that he made, but honestly, absolutely. Because frankly, at the end of the day, like, I know, like, I mean, historically, even, like, literally 100 years ago, even longer than that, there's been women who have been more, quote, masculine in their behavior and shit, hence, like, the whole idea of tomboy, where, you know, they would... prefer doing things, that, boys or men would do. Like, I remember Ludmila Pavlichenko, when she was growing up as a teenager, she would try to challenge boys when it came to, like, playing football or, like, playing different games and shit, or wrestling and shit like that, because during her youth growing up, a lot of boys would do shit like that. So instead of doing what, the girls her age were doing at the time as a teenager, she wanted to compete with them. I mean, and she was known as, like, one of the best snipers in the Soviet Union, too. I mean, just for reference of who I'm talking about. And basically, at least when she was growing up, like, she would legit basically be, like, this stereotypical tomboy, essentially. Like, she would compete with men, she'd rather go hunting and do sports and shit like that. And, things that in nature, in gender roles, would basically be more masculine and more, in nature of what a man would do. But she didn't give a fuck. She didn't care. Like, and when the war broke out, she literally was pressuring the Soviet army to recruit her. And eventually they just conceded and said, fuck it, fine. You'll be like, just like a frontline rifleman or some shit. And she showed her prowess there, especially as a marksman. And that's where she became a sniper. And that's when she became a very prominent role, at least especially on the Eastern Front, as a propaganda piece, too, especially when she started really making her notoriety. So she got fucked up, too, in the war, too. She got, like, hit with shrapnel once. I think she got shot at least a couple times. Like, she got fucked up a little bit. And, showed her prowess. I mean, so she was, like, stereotypical, like, masculine tomboy, type of strong woman type and shit. And it's just like, and that was back in, like, the fucking 40s. And she was growing up in, like, the 20s and 30s and shit. So it's just like, I mean, like, this idea of, like, gender role and gender norms has always been challenged since they've existed. Like, I mean, there was women back in, the Civil War era that were, like, challenging the norms of, like, when it came to being nurses, like, forcing themselves on the front line, teenage girls pretending to be boys so they could be drummers and, riflemen themselves and shit. Like, that was a thing that, there's stories about that during the Civil War in America. So it's like, there was women always, since, like, this shit existed, always challenging this shit. Men, too, as well. Maybe not as much, so to speak, but definitely there, as well. But like women especially, considering, how gender roles and gender norms have been, especially in Western society. So there's always like countless stories about that type of shit.
Cultural, quote-unquote, appropriation.
Mainly because of what he's getting into here of culture and tradition.
And have dreadlocks, even though your ancestry hails from Korea. Go ahead. No one should complain. Ideas, fashions, foods, trends, and so on.
Music, yeah.
Will no longer be seen as the purview of a particular people or culture, but as belonging to the whole of humanity. Borders. There will be no borders in my kingdom of the earth.
Based.
There will be no delineation of peoples based on geography. All people will be allowed to travel the world freely at their leisure. There will be no resource struggles. All resources of the earth will belong to the united peoples of the earth. Full stop. There are two things you might have noticed about these abolitions. The first thing you may have noticed is that each of them are designed to destroy the artificial separations that exist between human beings. For too long, those who have sought power over us have relied on the conquer strategy.
Leisure.
It is time to remove this weapon from their arsenal.
Oh shit, that was some footage of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany right there. That's pretty cool. I love the footage that he has in the background. Like, yeah, this is some Berlin Wall footage right here. I actually have some pieces of the Berlin Wall back when my mom's dad, before he passed, back in the 90s, he was traveling Europe. And he happened to be in Berlin during the Berlin Wall crumbling down, and he was able to grab a couple pieces. Now, I actually have at least a couple of them. At least one for sure. It's pretty cool.
It's time to remove this weapon from their arsenal. The second thing you might have noticed is that each of these ideas maximizes personal freedom.
Oh yeah, there's Gwen's tripping. Yeah.
Mega religions, you are free to seek your own beliefs. Without race, you are free to be judged on your own.
I think I love how he honestly picked the Berlin Wall crumbling down when it came to the whole idea about borders and shit, especially considering that it was literally a border wall between a fucking city.
Free to choose your own interests and aesthetics without pressure to conform to the imposed ideals of a misguided society.
I honestly hope that DFF does an episode about East Germany, and at least mainly specifically about the different times East Germany and West Germany potentially could have reunified, because there's honestly different times in the times the two Germanys existed where there was actually legit open talk about reunifying back in, I think, the 50s, mainly because Stalin thought it'd be a good idea to have Germany as like a neutral state, between the Warsaw Pact and NATO. And back in, I think, during the late 60s, because of the Prime Minister of East Germany at the time, or the Chancellor of East Germany, I forgot what specifically the title of the leader would be, and West Germany, like, both of them were actually somewhat friendly, and at least for a time, and there was, like, in the Olympics, like, a unified German sports team during the Olympics for 2 Olympic seasons and shit. There was actually, like, a point where there's legitimately a few times where Germany could have reunified during the Cold War, but it only happened during the 90s and shit. So I think, honestly, DFF would, probably have a really cool episode, just talking about just different times East Germany tried to reunify with West Germany and shit, or vice versa. Hey! It's just Harley, chill out.
Free to build your own identity. Without borders, you are free to traverse the globe with impunity and live wherever you wish.
Hey!
These things that I seek to abolish are not things that we should mourn the loss of. These are things that have artificially limited individual growth, and it is imperative that we identify them as the self-limiting institutions that they are and embrace a more individualistic view of the world. Collectivism has its place, but preserving the freedom of the individual must be the highest good.
Sean, it's almost over.
Central truth that almost all political ideologies fail to meaningfully recognize. I ask again, who are you? I have the answer. Vegas. Peace.
The fuck
The
out.
fuck out.
Love it. But yeah, pretty much everything he was saying there, especially for that last little point. I can see why that last little point you were saying is probably the best thing he's done, because Charu and goddamn based. What I was listening to was bassness, good saw. Good shit. If I do say so myself, you know. That's fucked up pronunciation. DJ kind of does that. Like, he will legit, like, instead of, like, roof, he'll say, like, woof. Like, I mean, he has legit, like, some fucked up pronunciation every now and then. Which I kind of find funny. I'll go to the bathroom here real quick. I'll be right back. Yo, you shall entertain. You shall entertain, see people's with your silence for a moment. Hey, Zucrock, get back here.
U-Haul tomorrow. I have a driver who has a legal license. I just don't. Period. Pretty please. The person who was supposed to help me fucking bailed. Appreciate it. And I would be in your debt forever.
Shibba-da-bobba-da-bibba-da-bobba, what?
No, I'm fucking texting Spawn.
No, you're not. You're talking it.
Yeah, talking to it. I sent him a message because I know he's probably at work.
No, he's not. It's Monday. He's off.
Oh, is he off?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and works Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes every other week, Saturday.
Oh, whatever.
You're like, whatever. Ignar should take a fat shiza. Well, I don't need to.
He may not still be awake.
Yeah, I don't think he's awake, because he would probably be on here if he was. But it's just Venom and Colby. Probably a result of trying to mask. Yeah, probably. Honestly, I kind of like it when TJ has a southern accent. Every now and then, I can get my southern accent coming out occasionally.
Zukov, I'm not in the mood.
Why aren't you in the mood? What's wrong?
I have everything lined up. I have a legal driver. I have wheels to put on the trailer, but no fucking vehicle.
You don't have a vehicle?
No.
Well, that's kind of a predicament.
Yeah, fuck off.
Well, I mean, hey, we could solve this. I don't know.
There's no way to solve it.
Why not first thing in the morning you rent one out?
Rent a U-Haul?
Yeah.
Because you need a major credit card to rent a fucking U-Haul.
Oh, and that's why in the chat, like, you know, Stefano was like, hell no, because it's so early in the morning, because you need that. Yeah, true. How much would you need? Does it have to be a card?
Oh yeah, it has to be a major credit card. No fucking cash at all.
Would a debit card work? How much would you need?
I don't know. I don't know how much a fucking U-Haul is anymore.
Fuck.
Like, they're like...
Because honestly, like, I mean, if I knew how much it was, I literally would check my bank account, and as long as you get me back as soon as possible, like, I mean...
I'd get you back, like, next fucking paycheck. You don't even have to go to U-Haul. All you have to do is fucking... You can literally do it all online.
Well, I mean...
And it's fucking bullshit. U-Haul is like...
Man, that is some bullshit. Like, they should at least, you know, still allow cash
and
if you're
fuck
walking
people,
the office.
you know what? I'm just gonna stop doing favors for people. Like, I'm just gonna stop fucking doing favors for everyone. Because, you know what? I get screwed in the end when I need help.
No, I kind of feel... If I had more free time on my hands, I legit would love to help you out more and shit, you know what I mean? Like... Because there's been times I've tried to offer to be like, hey, teach me a thing or two about working on this shit and I'll help you out, but, you
Get
know.
off my floor, Jack.
Oh, he can be there if you want. He ain't gonna do nothing. Rent-a-tard? Rent-a-tard. What would you do if you had a guest over and Zukov started humping them? I just laugh, because that'd be funny. Zukov doesn't do that, though. He's actually a really good boy. He never does that. He likes to, like, hop on people and stretch on them and be like, please pet me and give me love. But he never actually does full-on humps. He's only done that when he was a little puppy once to my...
No, he said he would... Stefan earlier said... But then when he realized where I was going, he was like, hell no.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to go with you or anything necessarily, because he already has the driver.
I already told him that. I texted him, I was like, hey man, would you still be willing to help me out? I literally had to be there at noon to put this trailer up.
Why no later?
Because that's the time I told the dude. And he wants to get rid of it.
Well, why'd you tell him that? Why couldn't he say noon to this time? You know, I'll be here from around here to here. I'll let you know specifically when I'm on my way and blah, 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 because I have to make sure I get my shit sorted. Like, I mean, you kind of, now hearing that, you kind of low-key goofed on that one a little bit.
No, I don't, because I know fuck tons of people who have fucking...
Well, you want to have a time frame. You don't want to have, like, an exact thing. Like, that's why I usually, like, especially when I get called in, for example, I always set a time frame. Like, I'll be here from around here to here in case I'm doing some shit, you know? Like, whether it's errands, hell, even doing a stream or whatever the fuck, just for the hell of it, just so I at least have a time frame, you know? Like, that's why, because then people will be like, why aren't you here exactly at the dot, you know? Because you set the exact fucking time frame. It's like, you know... Seth Red Durst. Why does everyone think Harley's like my roommate? Everyone thinks my roommate is Harley and Harley's my roommate. Like, I don't get that.
I'm always fucking here. God damn it, I just bought these fucking wheels. I'm not gonna get to use them on you guys.
Damn it, you'll find a way, I swear to God. Like, we're gonna fucking, like, you know, put two brains together and problem solve this bitch.
Like, what am I gonna do? Drop a 4x4 from the fucking sky?
I mean, fuck.
People around this neighborhood should feel lucky.
Oh, you know what? Oh, you know, I don't know if the gambler guy might be, you know, someone who could, like, cause he's kind of a buddy of yours, you know, a little bit. He's kind of buddy with you. So, I mean, I low-key, it's a gamble, I will admit, but, you know, if you were able to, like, you know, square some shit with him, he might be able to give you a hookup. It's like, if you give him, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's an idea. I don't know if it would work. It's just a...
No, because I have no clue when he's fucking her. He's always, like... He's not consistent. I'm not gonna go knock on his fucking door.
He literally let you take your little jack thing. He's like, go ahead and go to my garage, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, I mean, he's hooked you up a couple times before. Yeah, maybe not be totally consistent, but I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's actually helped you and hooked you up before once and twice a few times. So it's just like, I'm just saying. It's an idea.
I'm pretty sure that...
I mean,
he didn't have a vehicle to give me. He loved me anyway. Because all he has is the gambler. The other gambler. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, there's a possibility. It's just like I said, I'm just spitballing. Brain to brain intercourse. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here. I mean, I'm like, I don't know if Stefano is awake, but I mean, if He was willing to at least, deal with the transaction of the financial part of the U-Haul thing because you have the driver. I mean, at least you would be set there. But I'm just saying, if you have at least, like backup options, then it should be alright. Wouldn't like Justin or Spaz know somebody? Wouldn't they know anybody that could be the hookup a little bit, maybe?
Fuck Justin.
whoa, wow.
Fuck him, he's useless.
Well, okay, well that's... Oh my lord.
Spaz is already helping me.
Which I'm actually surprised you and him are, interacting again. Because the last time...
We're still friends.
Well, last time I heard that you two were just, like, never going to speak again, and that broke out. Like, I was like, nah, fuck him a little bit. But, well.
Me and him have moments where we don't talk to each other for a fucking long time, and then we're like...
Oh, okay.
His girlfriend is the fucking driver. He's the legit driver.
And
he
has another girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, alright. So,
Jesus Christ, dude, that's Spaz's character. He is such a...
Bro, the story behind this is fucking hilarious. So, this is okay, you gotta really pay attention to what I say here.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit confusing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's never a good start.
Alright, so Spaz is dating the daughter of fucking his baby mama's ex-boyfriend who hates his fucking guts, who's also in prison for beating the shit out of his baby mama's fucking brother.
What?
Where did you get lost in there?
The prison part? GCS reference. Peace to the fuck. You have a good one coming back. I'm gonna figure this one out.
He went to prison for beating the shit out of a minor.
So who? Who did?
Alright, so, you remember Sabrina?
No shit, yeah, I remember that part.
Her's mom's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, okay. That's the part that kind of confused me for a second.
He's a piece of shit.
Okay, well, fuck him. He sounds like
anyone who beats the shit out of a fucking minor is kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, a little bit, though. Honestly.
Yeah, it's fascinating, his daughter. Which I didn't fucking know until...
Well, that sounds like some, like, savage grind set moment right there, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck that daughter, It's like,
I'm just
damn.
like, how in the fuck does this even happen?
Dude, man, like... This is like some shit I only hear out of fucking Florida, man, but it's in Oregon. Sometimes certain stories that aren't in Florida qualify for the Florida man story.
Full-heartedly gonna take his court case to, like, all the way. He's going all the way with it now. He's gonna get a fucking actual court date, and he's fighting this shit hard.
Well, because isn't most of it kind of bullshit? Isn't he only really guilty of one thing out of all the shit that he's supposedly charged for? Like, from what if I remember correctly, wasn't there just at least one thing that he was guilty of, but the rest of it was legit bullshit?
Oh, yeah. No, him fucking shoving a knife through her back window, now that's fucking legit, but she had that coming.
Well, see, that's kind of what I mean.
She had it coming, because she fucking fully hit him with a fucking moving vehicle.
So she tried to run him over, and basically he did that himself. So even the thing that he is potentially liably charged for is more of an act of self-defense. So all in all, I mean, he's really just being kind of like framed for bullshit that he wasn't really doing outside of, defending himself.
And he might have assaulted her. I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, we'll see. That's why, I wonder which shit is legit and which isn't.
I've heard like 5 different fucking stories.
Same here. Like, I've heard different
different
stories.
stories. It gets fuzzy somewhere in the fucking middle.
Yeah, like I've heard I've heard his side. I've heard you hearing the different sides of it. Like, I mean, I don't know what part is legit and what really isn't, but I know there's at least one thing in there that is at least legit. But everything else does definitely sound kind of wishy-washy, and that's why
car had a fucking trailer hitch.
Well, that's why he's probably fighting it, because he knows that at the end of the day he probably is.
He's not gonna win.
Well, I mean, if he can at least make his case, and at least eloquently enough, then he might at least have a case for it. But it just, I mean, because if he almost got ran over by a fucking car because she was a psycho, then
yeah,
I mean,
you gotta prove that she like intentionally was trying to run you over.
Well, is there any potential video evidence?
Again, I have no fucking...
Well, yeah, see, that's kind of what I mean. Like, it's like, if he can at least, show evidence and a case, then he can at least,
The odds are stacked against him. If he actually wins this case, I am gonna be like, bro, goddamn,
I'd want to know, like, I mean, what tricks does he have up his sleeve? Like, what lawyer did he get? Like, what public defender did he get, or what lawyer did he get? Like, holy shit. I mean, honestly, because, I mean...
Spaz is actually a pretty lucky-ass motherfucker. He probably could win this.
I mean, considering that he's basically just, like, got an ankle thing and is kind of out and about right now, he kind of is. I mean, honestly. Like, he's, he definitely has this rung of bad luck, but that motherfucker definitely has a weird streak of good luck mixed into that. He's a character. I mean, he's definitely got his flaws, and he's definitely have problems and anger issues and shit. Like, I mean, he's definitely got his issues, but, I mean, I always question, like, how much is legit when it comes to, like, a lot of stuff that's claimed about him and shit. Because, I mean, I've seen him and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, he's kind of, like, he's kind of blunt and, yeah, can be aggressive at times, but he's... in a lot of ways, kind of like a harmless goof unless you, like, cross him in some way, and then, unless he, takes something kind of personal. I mean, beyond that, like, he's kind of just more of, like, a very sort of, like, bluntish kind of goof, or spaz, basically, hence his nickname, So...
Hey, bitches, this is the reason we call him fucking spaz.
Zukov, hey, get out of that Jim Beam. You don't want no goddamn Berman, dog. What are you doing? Oh, my God. Oh, dude, Drew's not gonna be happy. You fuck! What's wrong with you? What are you doing getting into some Jim Beam, bro? Why are you trying to get into the Jim Beam?
What are you fucking talking about?
There's a Jim Beam bottle for glass in there that he got when he was seeing his mom last time. Go and look at it. I mean, you can...
No, I see it.
Honestly, I'm kind of... Actually, I kind of maybe want you to move it next to my ammo can, just so Zukov doesn't get into it again. Like, honestly, though. Like, because, dog, you fucking goofball. You're goof. I mean, no, seriously, okay, grab it, put it.
He's not gonna fuck with.
Yeah, he just look at him. He ripped the corner off of it. He literally just did that.
Oh, boo! It's just a fucking corner.
I know, but it's not mine. It's Drew's, so I don't want Zukov fucking with it. Drew's already kind of on his last leg a little bit, because he's been kind of a menace, anyway. So.
What, the dog?
Yeah. Dude, whenever he's gone, like, I mean, he's been, like, extra careful about what he leaves out and shit, because every time he's gone and I happen to leave him out a little bit, thinking I could trust him, he shreds the shit out of his stuff. And if he gets in here, and if I happen to have, like, my treats over here, or, like, some food I have, waiting for my lunch or some shit, he'll get into that. It's like, the dude's a straight-up terrorist. I mean, it's like, I love him. I mean, he's trustworthy as long as there's nothing around, but if not, like, that motherfucker will shred the shit out of everything.
I'm trying to think here. It's 3 a.m. You know what, Zukov? There is the old Harley. Who's not afraid to bash out a window.
Huh?
You don't want to know what I'm thinking.
No, dude, don't.
We don't.
I already know what the fuck you're thinking. I already know, and no.
What do you mean, no? You don't know what I'm thinking.
Bashing a window of some truck and then hijacking it as a Grand Theft Auto so you can use that as a way to get your fucking trailer.
Hell yeah.
See? I know what the fuck you're thinking, and no!
What do you mean, no?
Because that shit's gonna go out as a lost fucking vehicle, and the license plate goes out as a police report, and then they're gonna fucking look for that shit, and then you're gonna get pulled over, and then you're gonna get fucked. So...
I'm pulling over if the cops show up.
Yeah, having a fucking, you know, like, running away from cops with a goddamn trailer on your ass and shit while fucking, like, goddamn 50 cops follow you and shit. Yeah, now ain't gonna work. No. Jesus Christ. Some things sound good as a fantasy, but when you execute it in reality, it literally goes the exact opposite way. So, I'm just saying. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, you want your little rope boat? You want this? Get it. Go get it. That's the opposite way, dog. Oh my god. Here, see what else is on too. Take one more little gander. Wait, what the hell is it?
What?
Russia launches kamikaze strikes at Kiev? Wait, kamikaze drone strikes?
Yeah.
That's not how kamikazes work.
Pups. Yeah, that's good, pups.
Goof.
Yeah.
But a kamikaze implies that there's a person inside of it. Drone strike, like a drone, like can't be a kamikaze. So I guess Russia unleashed some drones that had explosives on them and just like ran them in different areas in Kiev. That's still not a drone strike, or not. Well, I guess they are, but they're not kamikaze strikes. That implies that individuals and a human was involved doing a suicidal bombing run, basically. At least when it comes to using an aircraft or a vehicle or something. Because Japan had kamikaze attacks outside of aircraft. They also had like kamikaze torpedo boats. Like, they were basically torpedoes, but they're man-made or man-operated, where they would be attached to some of their leftover submarines that they would have, at least their more bigger ones, and have like a few of those attached, and then release those and have those like specifically, you know, man-operated, be guided into their specific targets. And of course, there's the Oka with the like man-powered rocket missile, basically. And of course, taking their obsolete aircraft that they had in storage and basically pumping them full of explosives and using those. And also just like the individual, like, you know, kamikaze charges and bonsai charges, of course, and shit. So that's like what a kamikaze is. I mean, at least some form of that. Doesn't have to be specifically, you know, something from Japan, but it's just, that's what it is. It's something like that. Just a drone doing it is not a kamikaze attack. That's just a drone strike using the drone itself. Which, would it just be better to do what Ukraine's doing and have a bunch of them just flying overhead and dropping a small little bit of payload? It's like, I think Ukraine's doing a better job using drones as bombs. Or at least bombers. Versus, like, what Russia's doing. Like, what, like oh my god. It's not exactly how you do it, Russia. That's not what a drone strike is. Drone strike is not literally having a drone striking an object with explosives attached to it. That's not what a drone strike is. Nor is that what a kamikaze is. I mean, I will admit, it is amusing. I mean, just the idea of it. Obviously, it happening in Kiev is not amusing. But, I mean, just the idea that, like, oh yeah, we'll have drones, comrade, you know, strike in Kiev. How are they gonna do it? We're literally gonna just have the drones ram into things. Just put a bunch of explosives on the beach and just ram the fucker. It's like, what? Wouldn't you want to preserve the drone? So you can do that over and over again? Like, okay. Like, what the fuck? Well, you know what they say. Never interrupt the enemy when they're making a mistake. So if they want to waste drones, have at it. Those would normally be pretty useful. But anyway, here. I think I'll get one more bowl loaded up here and I think call it good for the rest of the evening. Definitely kind of hungry now. Got a bunch of ramen, so I think I'm just gonna pick the fuck out of some ramen. And honestly, I'm not tired at all, which is kind of problematic. Because I may or may not have work tomorrow. I have no idea. I guess we'll see. We'll see about that. If not, then I'll probably have like a little fucking bonfire at this little beach that one of my friends discovered.
Look off. You want to help me come bust out windows?
Dude, fucking really, don't do that.
Last option.
Seriously, like...
Come on, 9 Iron. Let's go cause havoc.
Nah. Alright, I'm definitely gonna sweat the last of this and rationalize why he really should not be doing what he's considering. Especially now that there's recorded evidence.
Nobody watches these fucking streams.
But as I have people that were commenting and chatting, like, and also like when there's a warrant and police investigate shit, that bullshit.
The police department is not smart enough to realize that.
Bruh. Okay. Peace out. I'll see y'all next one. I'm Mark.